Hello, welcome in, welcome in. Those on YouTube, definitely like, subscribe, and comment. This is previously recorded live on TikTok and then I upload it to YouTube, so I hope you enjoy. As you're coming in, you guys, if we could tap the screen, Marvin, welcome in. We want to tap the screen so we could get the show started. If you ever been to my show before, you know that I like to have a full panel up. Welcome in Shishi, welcome in Miss Melissa. I like to have a full panel up so that we can discuss the topics. This is not one of those lives where you just have like a host just talking to you guys. I like to have it more so like a talk show. We have a topic and we have guests to come up and talk about it. With that being said, the prompt does not necessarily reflect my views. Hello, what's up, Anne? Welcome in. Listen, y'all be cutting up in the comments. My comment section be having me cracking up. The only thing is we need to be tapping it up too. I'll be behind on the likes, you guys. I want to reach my rankings and likes. And so if you guys can help out when you're enjoying the show, definitely tap the screen. Right now we want to get it to 5K in the first 5 to 10 minutes, so that we could go ahead and push the live out into the FYP, and then 5 to 10 minutes, etc. throughout the live. We want to begin the likes up so that we can reach at least 50K an hour. Welcome in, Tab. Glad to see some ladies that stand on business coming into the room. If we can repost and share the live and tap the screen, that would be great. First topic today, white tea men, why haven't you deconstructed ageism and patriarchy? And I want to hear the thoughts from everyone else also. So yeah, that question is directed to white tea men, but anyone else just, who has any thoughts on why they haven't done that as a collective group together to try to deconstruct patriarchy and ageism, definitely I would love to hear your thoughts also. Thank you for the daily heart me's. If you haven't seen the daily heart me, please do. Remember, it gives you points and myself points. It gives you and myself points. So we're at 721. Awesome. We're almost getting to 1K, close to 5K. So we can continue tapping the screen. That would be great. And TikTok has a new feature to repost the live, so definitely check that out and repost the live. When you repost, I believe it reposts as a story, if I'm not mistaken. Tashella, welcome in. Thank you for tapping. If everyone can join Tashella in tapping. Second topic, if you don't like blacks, quote unquote, why not just leave them alone? I heard a white tea man today say that if he doesn't like a particular group, it doesn't mean he has to do anything. He just doesn't like them. He just stays away from them. How about people in general? If you don't like a particular group, just stay away from them. You don't have to try to hurt them. You don't have to try to make life harder for them. Just leave them alone. Sir says, because I'm black. If you don't like blacks, why not just leave them alone? Well, because you're black. Well, what does that mean? What do you mean by that? Because you're black. Because there's a lot of people who are black who don't like being black or don't like blacks, and they still stay around, but they do it just to hurt their own people. So that's a problem also. Third topic, if you don't like women, why not just leave them alone? It's becoming very evident that a lot of people are, well, specifically men, just don't like women. But instead of just leaving them alone and letting them be, they want to still control them. They want to still make rules and laws to oppress them. Why not just leave them alone? Let's continue to tap, you guys, if we can get the likes up to 5K. Raymond, hey Raymond, welcome in. You guys are welcome to share, repost the live. First topic, white team, and why haven't you deconstructed acism? We're going to say acism instead of the full word, and patriarchy. Raymond, I have not seen you here every day. I haven't even seen you gift a live goal before. I've seen you in the comments a few times though. If you're a mod, I would see you actively supporting the live goal, actively supporting the panel, coming up to the panel, things like that. That's how I consider mods. Lorette says, listen, good Joe, blow the 1 billion Looney around the world today. Need nugget population to survive. Okay, I'm not sure, Lorette, where you're going with that at all. You're welcome to come up and to explain what you're talking about, but I'm not sure where you're going with that. We're at 1.4K. If we could get some people to tap, I don't see anybody tapping. If you're coming here just to be rude, you're going to get blocked. If you're coming here to troll, you're just going to get dropped. I don't know what's the point of troll, especially if you're not funny. Again, white tea men, why haven't you deconstructed acism and patriarchy? Um, the money pals is always there. I do like 5 at a time throughout the live, depending on how long I'm streaming. No, it's not just white tea perspective. That's why it says, and all others, what's your thoughts? So everyone is pretty much invited in this conversation. Doesn't matter the race, religion, sexuality. It doesn't matter. Everyone's always welcome in my lives, but I know sometimes certain topics, some people feel funny when certain people chime in. This one, anyone can chime in, and it's actually directed to everyone. Public Seer, why don't you support the live goal? And aren't you Knowledge? What's that guy's name? Knowledge is Power or something? That's your other page? You like to come here and troll me like I don't know who you are? Raymond says they can't leave us alone. They're jealous. Interesting take. I want to see if anybody's bold enough to come up. Um, remember, my live is about standing on business. I don't police my live. With that being said, I'm not responsible for anything said on the panel or inside the comments. When you come in, you get a message, and that message is true. Controversial topics, real people, real answers. If you can handle real, raw conversations, come on in. So if you can handle real, raw conversations, come on in. And I'm not going to police your thoughts. Nakami, I hope I say your name right. I always say that. Thanks for tapping. If everyone can join Nakami, we want to get it to 5K. That's where we should be right now, is at 5K. Sir, I see you requested up, but I hope you're not a troll. You can go ahead and send your request back. I was going to bring you up until we get at least up over 1K. Chrissy Spoons, thank you. Raymond, thank you. We're getting there. We're almost to 5K. And the goal is to reach that within the first 5-10 minutes. Reach 10K within the first 10 to 15 minutes. So let's continue to tap. Again, white tea men, why haven't you deconstructed ageism and patriarchy? We know that white tea men created this. So I'm sure with the white tea privilege, if you guys were to join together collectively, you can deconstruct this together. So why haven't you? Chrissy Spoons, welcome in. Thanks for tapping. You guys, let's get some subscriptions today. We're at 62. The goal is 73. So my goal is to reach, to get at least 5 subscribers today. So if you could subscribe, definitely have some interesting topics, controversial topics where you could come stand on business. And you do get certain perks when you're a subscriber. And anyone wanting to be a mod, you would have to at least be a subscriber for some time first. So subscribe is only, it's less than $3 to subscribe. So as we're just getting started, if you can tap, 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 we're almost to 5K, reaching 10K. Welcome up. Can I get your age, race, and pronoun?
I'm like 6-7 years old.
What?
Yeah, 6-7.
You're 67?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna just drop you because you laughing, you playing. We're almost at 10K, you guys. Again, white tea men, why haven't you deconstructed ageism and patriarchy? I would like to know why you guys aren't working as a collective. I hear so many white tea people say that they don't agree with ageism. They don't agree with the harm and the unfairness of women. And I'm just trying to figure out why, as a collective, you guys haven't worked together to deconstruct it. Because it would take you guys to deconstruct it, honestly. We're at 5.1K. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. We reached the first goal. The goal right now is to get it to 10K. Ray, shut up. If you're going to come up, but you're not going to police what I'm wearing. So if you want to be in the comments being rude, I'm just going to mute you. You can come up and answer the prompt. I don't know why some of you trolls love to troll the comments instead of just coming up and answering the prompt. If you disagree, you could just disagree instead of coming up to troll the prompt or the host. All right, you guys, we're just getting started. Welcome in. If we can tap the screen, share the live, repost the live. Any say you look good, though. I was just surprised. You were surprised at what? Raymond says, I think you're beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate it. Denzel says, you know what? You guys, okay. Let's see. Anyone, don't be afraid. It could be you. Yes, you. You could be the first one to come and answer the prompt. Don't be scared. Again, white tea men, why haven't you deconstructed ageism? I'm sure everyone knows what deconstruct means. Is basically tear it down, dismantle it, stop it, break that system. And all others. So all other people, no matter what race you are, let me know why you think white tea men hasn't deconstructed racism and patriarchy. Second topic, if you don't like blacks, why not just leave them alone? All the aces people, the biased people towards black people, why do you continue just to try to oppress them? Why not just leave them alone, leave them be? And so many times black people have started their own communities, successful, thriving, and they literally get tore down by some white tea aces people. And then they make systems and laws in place to oppress black people. So, like, again, if you don't like black people, why not just leave them alone? Why continue to oppress them? Let's talk about it today. You know, my show is about standing on business, so I want to hear real thoughts. I'm not going to police your thoughts, so don't be scared, people, to come up and stand on business. Third topic: if you don't like women, why not just leave them alone? It's a lot of men who are showing and expressing they don't like women. Women being unalived in public by strangers has gone up at a all-time rise, and there's a lot of violent crimes, with the motive and the motive behind it being just because they dislike women. Why not just leave women alone? You guys, we're at 6.6K. Let's get it to 10K. If we can get it to 10K, if everyone can tap, tap, tap. Boss man, you always come up here. I believe that's you, and you're like choppy. I hope you're not choppy today. Walk the walk, talk the talk. I see you requesting up. Are you requesting up on purpose? I don't like bringing people up that accidentally press the request button. We're at 7.2K. We're almost there. Nakami, thank you so much. If everyone can join Nakami and tapping. Hello, welcome up.
Hi, I know your live is addressing YT males, right, for them to come up and speak.
No, everyone can speak. That's
Can you
why I
hear
put all, anyone can speak on the topic. That's why I put all others. What's your thoughts? I did that on purpose, hoping everyone would catch
Oh,
on.
oh,
So
excuse me.
anyone
Well,
can
I just
chime
wanted to. Well, let me get away from my fan because it's probably gonna make it where you can't hear me. I just wanted to say, in my mind, the reason why YT males cannot deconstruct their way of thinking when it comes to racism and patriarchy is because they have practiced narcissistic, sociopathic, psychopathic behavior for centuries and decades, and it is who they are. And the main one that they practice all as a unit is the psychopathic portion of it. And so when you turn yourself into a psychopath, or your parent or whoever turn you into a psychopath, what happens is that you can't deal with the truth. You can't accept the truth. And every time, if you're watching these people, these men, every time something happens, they turn around like the narcissistic part of them, and they start pointing the finger at the person that they did the wrong to. And then if you tell them that they're wrong, they want to get violent and turn into a doggone psychopath. And so we're dealing with a race of people that will never be able to recover from practicing those things. And I'm just really sad that everybody they even turning other people from different races into that crap. And it's just really, they got us in hell now. And the only way that you can have any peace in your life is that if that you don't allow these people to take control of your mind and turn you into a narcissistic, sociopathic psychopath. Because when you do, you will side with them and you will begin to act out like them. And so I'm like, right now I'm really bitter against these people since I came on TikTok. I've never been bitter towards white people like this before, but I am, and it's because I'm seeing them in a whole. I'm just seeing them in real time, and I mean, it's just it's crazy to me that these people. And another thing about those behaviors, narcissistic, sociopathic, psychopathic behavior, it does not allow you to mature into a fully developed an adult. And so these people are stuck in their toddler, child, teen behavior, and they can't even move up into adulthood. You see them walking around here with clothes and stuff on, and yes, they can do different types of tasks, but when it comes to dealing with people, they act like that goddamn toddler the most of the time, just running around hollering and screaming because they can't get their way, and it's just really pathetic with the way that these people are. And so when it comes to racism, they love their God is narcissistic, sociopathic, psychopathic behavior. They love that, and they also love racism because it's a reward for them. It gives them exactly what they want. And it's just really it's girl, this is so mind blowing to me and so crazy to me. These people, they love hell. They thrive in hell. They're a whole different type of people.
Wow, very, very, very interesting. And you said that since you've been on TikTok, it made you bitter. What are some of the things you've seen on TikTok that white tea people are doing?
Well, I have gotten a chance to see them operate in narcissistic, sociopathic, psychopathic behavior in real time. And I mean, you get these grown white teen men and women, mostly the men, coming online and they go around to different lives and they can't even handle a conversation in respect and decency, because when you call out their behavior, they go all off into acting like a goddamn child, and they don't want to accept the truth. And so my thing is with these people, they're never going to change. They're just never going to change. And their whole thing that they feel like
So,
they're better than people.
Walk, I'm about to go to global next, and just
Okay.
don't be a track star so more people can respond to you. But let me respond briefly on a couple things. First, if we can get it to 20K, you guys, we're just about to hit 10K, and the goal right now is 20K. Nakami, I see you tapping. I need my comment section is usually great, and making comments as the show gets started keep us laughing, interested, and excited. But I just need a better tapping team so we can reach the goal every live. So let's get it to 20K. That's the goal right now. I just want to say, lastly, before I go to global, Walk, what do you feel is the solution to deconstruct patriarchy and ageism if they're never
Well,
going to change? Is it going
well,
to
like
have to be taken by force?
okay, well, like I said, it's because they practice narcissistic, sociopathic, psychopathic behavior. Once you bend and twist and corrupt your mind, there's no coming back from that. So, when it comes to deconstructing it, it's impossible. It is really, it's just impossible. It's totally impossible. And you know that guy that they got unalived, uh, he made things even worse because over 7 million people is on his stupid crap now. So now we got several generations more of this idiotic crap that is being taught to people to, be a goddamn sociopath. And I mean, who are they? How in the heck can they think that they're better than anybody? Especially, I mean, black people above all. I mean, our ancestors have set this whole country up by inventing darn near everything that we use. And they got the nerve enough to take it and turn around in their narcissism and say that we did this. And, this is the reason why this guy is not here with us today on this earth anymore, is because of his views. And the white guy that took him out there's a lot of there are some young people that are of their race that are tired of this, and they're starting to act out.
Hmm.
Can I respond before I go back in?
Yeah, let's answer the prompt.
Uh, YT men having a they it's impossible. You the one thing I will say, and I say this respectfully, I don't say this jokingly, and think about it deeply when I say it. The devil only has one job. That's to inflict harm and hate, abuse. That's his whole job is to inflict suffering. So you will never get a demon and a devil to do anything. It's like it's just spinning your wheels. And time has proven that demons and devils are what we're dealing with. So that's not going to change. That's never going to change. It is what it is. You can live with it. You can try to adjust to it. You can survive through it. But there's no real change coming. It's in the DNA. It's in the DNA now. So it is what it is. On the other part of the prompt, what did it say? If you don't like blacks, why
Well,
not?
let's stay
Just
on the
leave us
first one
alone.
for a moment. Let's stay on the first
Okay.
one because let's just have a conversation without talking about demons and devils. Let's just talk about the actual topic. So with white tea men, okay, you feel like they would never try to deconstruct patriarchy and acism. I guess the ones who are considered the good ones, as a collective, they're not going to try to put a system together or gather people together to deconstruct. You feel like that would never happen, correct?
I will say this to that answer. I think a lot of us see what's being done on the surface. If we knew the depraved nature of what's being done on a daily basis, that is in an Epstein-like manner, if we really knew what was going on, we couldn't fathom day-to-day life among a lot of people if we really knew what was going on and what was being covered up. So yes, I don't say what I'm saying in an unlikely way. I say what I'm saying because I see what's under the surface, and the things that are under the surface justify the correlation with the demon and the devil. It probably is an understatement at this point.
Wow, this is mind-boggling. So are you saying that black people amongst other races just gonna have to deal with it? For they're gonna continue to have to deal with acism and patriarchy?
I,
Well,
I'm, I'm saying this. I don't think you have to deal with it. I think a lot of black people want to deal with it and are going to continue to deal with it because they have hope in the fact that it can change, or that it can be some type of cohesiveness, some type of balance. But I think at some point we're going to have to accept the writing on the wall. I mean, we've had our hand extended from the beginning of time, pretty much saying, "Hey, we can do this a better way." And our hand has been unalived. It's been beaten. It's been stomped. It's been destroyed. It's been imprisoned. It's been everything, every negative thing you can do to that hand has been done. But yet we still keep it extended. I mean, think about that. We have made the ultimate sacrifice and still saying we can do this better. And
so is the problem black people? Are they being submissive to the white team man?
Yes, the
I
problem
think I
is the
think I
black
think
Well,
uh
I'm
I think
asking
hope is
global. I'm gonna come
dangerous.
back to you, Walk. I'm gonna let you get
I
okay.
in.
think I think hope is a threat to us right there. I think optimism is a threat to us. I think accepting the writing on the wall, seeing it for what it is, calling a spade, and just going from there would do us some good. And we just say, hey, we know you're not going to change. So let us adjust to this and see what we can do with that. If we get beyond the idea that we can change people and people can do better, then we'll do better. But long as we hope, they hope that we hold on to hope. They hope every time they come from us, we still hope for better. That's their safe haven, is our hope. Take away that hope and say, no, you are exactly what you are, and that's how I'm going to deal with you now. You'll get somewhere with that.
Okay, so then why are black people continuing this hope? And if they're so bad, why are so many black people mixing with them?
I think it's done out of habit. It's what we're used to doing. Do you realize we still have people when something happened? Why is this happening? I don't understand. I tell people all the time, you're only saying I don't understand and why this happened because that's a habit. Everything has shown you why this happened. Nothing happened different than the last time or the 100 or the 200 times ago. But it's a habit that we have. It's a habit that we have crying, saying we can do better, we can get along, when we know that's just not going to happen. I want
Okay,
to. I
let
want
me
to point
ask
out
you this
something.
last thing, and
Go ahead.
then
I'm
I'm gonna
sorry.
go to walk.
I'm sorry.
If
I'm
that is,
sorry.
if, no, you're good. If that's the case, then why haven't black men as a collective decide to just wash their hands and build their own communities then?
Honestly, I would say this. A lot of us have adjusted to being hurt to the point that we're used to it. I don't think we have a bottom anymore. I think we just know how to pivot, we know how to shift, and we know how to make adjustments. We are becoming numb to tragedies. We are becoming numb to, catastrophic tragedies. We're getting used to things that we shouldn't be getting used to. And I think
Oh,
that's the
so you're
problem.
admitting that black men are docile. So this falls down on black men at the end of the day, then,
Oh,
correct?
absolutely, absolutely. I wish I could say what I want about it, but I'm not. But I definitely say black men are the worst enemy to us right now because we're watching things happen that we're willing to make excuses for over and over again. We're so dangerous that we're worried about who gets to wear the pants in the house, who rules the woman and who rules the kids, versus protecting the house and protecting the woman and protecting the kids. That says everything. I'll leave it at that. That says everything about where black men minds are at.
So here we are. We have the white team men, the patriarchy, the acism, and then we have, according to what you're saying, then we have the black man that is just desensitized to it and normalize it and are just not going to do nothing about it. Instead, they just want to fight about who wears the pants in the house. So
Yeah,
nothing's
but that's
being done.
not
Well, hold on. I'm
black.
going to global. Give me 1 second. So nothing's being done about what the white team man is doing.
I'll make it even worse than that. A lot of us have handed them our balls, and they put our balls in their pockets. And we on that we sick thing. When the ball's sick, we sick. That's where we at right now. When the
Wow.
boss is sick, we sick.
When the boss is sick, we sick. We are sick, Amasa. Oh my goodness.
Exactly.
This is
And a lot of
mind
us are making
boggling.
excuses for it now. That's the scary part. A lot of men are comfortable with making excuses in front of black women. A lot of men are comfortable with black women standing up saying, "Hey, no, that's wrong," and then you want to say, "Well, you don't need to say it that way." They're okay with making that adjustment. That's scary. That is scary that you can stand in front of a black woman and watch her have a bigger backbone than you got. Come on.
Okay, I have another question for you, but I'm gonna let Walt get in. Let's continue to tap the screen, you guys. No one's tapping. We need to get it to 20K. This is a good conversation that can expound, but we need to be tapping, sharing the live, etc. Global, if you could share the live out to 20 people. Walt, go ahead, chime in.
I wanted to say that I'm 65 years old, and I've been, like people think that they're older people ain't never been online. I'm right in front of Gen X. Gen X is the ones that dealt with the phones, the whole technology that we dealt with, like the phones and the VCRs and stuff like that. And so I came in on computers. So I do have some fairly good computer skills. And so my basic my you know what the hell am I talking about? Okay, wait, I went into left field. What I wanted to say when it comes to the black men, there are a lot of black men out here doing great things. I'm telling you, they married, they got families, they ain't playing when it comes to their families. They are really working hard in the communities. They're doing things with the young people and they having a good time. And I mean, we talk about there are some black men out here that, are struggling with trying to get things together. But I have to keep it real for the brothers because, see, you got people on here that think like that Charlie guy that when they hear us talk and say black men and we this and that and all of this bad crap, they'll start thinking that it's all black men when it's absolutely not like that at all. So I just want to give thumbs up to the black brothers that's out there that's doing things and coming together and keeping it real, because if all black men were stuck on stupid, then we would be in a worse condition than we are in today. So I just
All
wanted
right,
to make that
Global.
point.
Global, what's your thoughts on what she just said? Is this part of the problem? Are we kind of babying our men, a lot of the black women? Global, if you could chime in. You guys, let's, while he's getting it together, I'm not sure where he's at.
Give me just a minute. Just a minute. I'll be back.
Okay, while he's getting it together, let's just tap the screen. We should be at 20K, everybody. I see some people tapping. I know Loner just came in and started tapping. Chrissy Spoons, you requested up. I guess it was a mistake, but I see you tapping. If you guys can share the live out, repost the live, that'll be great. But yeah, let's continue getting the taps up so we can push the live into the FYP. I've already heard some very interesting things. We have, Global that just said black men have literally gave the white T men their nuts in the white T man hand and have literally just given up. And that is very sad, especially if you hear a black man say it. It must be some truth, because why would a black man say that about his own group of people? Hold on, Walt. Let me finish what I'm saying. Why would a black man say that about his own group of people unless there's some truth to it? So we definitely need to get to the bottom of this today. Okay? Everyone is welcome in this conversation. I'm going to have a real conversation with different perspectives. White women, black women, white men, black men, etc. Let's talk about it today. A lot of times we can't even have real conversations because people want to police who can come into certain spaces, so we can't even have the dialogue of what's really going on because we want to keep the conversation separate. You guys, if I'm talking, just stay on mute, please. I'll call on everyone. Walk, I'm gonna get you in. But yeah, this is definitely mind-boggling. But in this space, I don't police. Spoons, it'll be nice if you come up. You can definitely come up and chime in. But let's get the likes up. Let's get the shares up. When you come up, share the live. Walk, if you can share the live out, I'm gonna come to you next. If you can share the live out, I usually have everyone share the live out before they start talking. So if everyone on the panel can go ahead and share the live out to 20 people. Tasha, I'm thinking you request up on accident. You can let me know in the comments because I know you usually be in the comment section. And if you're tapping, please stay on mute so no one has to hear you tapping. But Walk, I'm gonna come back to you. If you can share the live out. Global, if you can share the live out, I'm gonna come back to you. Thank you, Walk. I see you sharing the live out. I see some mods coming in. I see Jasmine and Mika just came in. So we want to start dropping mod announcements and helping the light goal get up. Chrissy, how about you chime in? If you could read out the first one and answer it.
Sure. Hello again, Poetic. Thanks for having me again. So in regards to the first prompt, YT men, why haven't you deconstructed racism and patriarchy? I guess as a white T woman, I mean, my thoughts on this is men were never supposed to lead to begin with. I think religion and misogyny have played a really big part in giving men the wrong idea that they're the natural leaders, and because of this, they use laws and violence and, you know, governments to suppress women, and they're artificially in these roles. So white men being the biggest, perpetrators of this, of course. And so, I mean, it's just as simple as they don't want to give up that power. It's as simple as that. It's insidious, yes, but everything that they attribute to being what men are strong at are actually things that they just stole from women. Women are the caretakers of humanity. Women are the life givers. Women are the providers. And it's the biggest grift in history. And, as far as white men go, I can't speak for black people, but as far as white men go, they don't want to lose that power. It's as simple as that.
And
I,
is there
Can I
why
respond to
white tea
that?
women? Hold on, walk. I'm gonna let you get in after I have a one on one with her. Why haven't white tea women, as a collective, said that, hey, we're not going to go along with this patriarchy and acism with you guys anymore? Why haven't you guys stood against that? I know you guys,
yeah.
had a feminist movement, or white tea women did. With that, why wasn't that connect? Why didn't you guys have a breaking down acism and the patriarchy with the feminist movement? Is there more that you believe white tea women could do,
Um,
basically?
of course, there's more that can be done, of course. I guess, and I please don't think that, like, I think of this as an excuse, but white women are in a weird position as well, because when you're so close to the oppressor and the one who is doing all these violent things, some of these women are going to do whatever they can to stay on those men's good sides because they don't want to be a target as well. It's not an excuse. I think it's awful that white women haven't spoken out more since we're also victims of white men. Um, but I think a lot of it is self preservation. As sick as it sounds, I think in some ways it is. Um, I personally, I'm not that way. I grew up with, German grandparents who lost, family in wars and things like that. Maybe I have a different perspective on it. So I've always been more of, equality and fighting for people. But unfortunately, like you said, a lot of white women need to stop playing victims and understand that they have more power and that we can stand up to this as well. And I think more white women do want that than white men, but a lot of them are just so entrenched in this white supremacy that they don't even see it, and it's awful.
I'm
But
gonna
you
use
really
an
do a lot of those
example. Hold
reforms.
on, hold on. I'm gonna get walk first, and then Goble. I know you had told me to hold on, and then other people needed to chime in, so I'm gonna come back to you. But I just want to throw this out there. Nobody has to respond to me. I'm gonna go to the next person. What I think about when you say that, like the white tea women, like what they can do with their men, because their men are the ones who are the colonizers and started patriarchy and acism, etc. It seems as though that white tea women, as a collective, if they had the mindset to say, hey, even though I love this man, because it doesn't even have to be a romance thing. It could be your fathers, your brothers, etc. But I'm gonna just use the romance, like if it's your boyfriend, your fiance, your husband. Let's be honest. As women, we know that we can influence our man. If he is in love with us, if he like literally likes the ground that we walk on, we could kind of get them to do almost anything. So I just don't see white tea women, if they really felt like, hey, I'm tired of acism. I'm tired of seeing you guys oppress black people. I'm sick of it. Baby, can we please change these laws and let's help these people? To see a white tea woman do that would be groundbreaking. But Chrissy, let me finish because remember I'm going to the next guest after. That would be something because we know as women you can influence your man. You can. So white tea women as a collective, when that man loves you, the ones who are in the high elite positions or even the average Joes can start doing stuff. So, on all classisms, if white tea women wanted to influence their man to stop, I believe they can, because you can almost influence your man anything when he loves you and he's into you. So I believe if they use that to their advantage to actually make changes in the world, they definitely could. But I'm going to go to the next person. Walk, go ahead and chime in, and then we'll go to Global. Shishi, I'm going to come back to you.
Okay, I just wanted to, for the young lady who was speaking about YT women, and I wanted to tell her that, this is the reason why I think I'm going to get off the live. I have no patience for those people. And the reason why,
Well, that's what we're not going to do,
okay,
because to me, hold on, let me say this. If you're going to drop, just drop, because it's kind of stupid. It's on the prompt for us to have the conversation. For you to say, oh, well, I'm just going to leave, what you're doing is brainwashing and influencing weak-minded people that could be viewing this live to not have the dialogue. And that is counterproductive. Because if we can't even have the dialogue and discuss these issues, we're nowhere near of even fixing the problem. So your influence could be used greatly for good or for bad. You can disagree cordially with her instead of just like, oh, I'm just gonna leave. So you're just trying to say like, hey, I'm not even gonna support you, Poetic, as a black woman in your life because I'm mad at her because she's white tea, when the topic today includes white tea people. That is ridiculous. And that doesn't help. That doesn't help me in my live and my platform. It doesn't help the topic. What you can do is be willing to disagree with her, because my panel, you can stand on business and disagree with whomever you want to. And then she can respond and we can have a dialogue. But I'm disgusted when people be like, well, I'm just gonna leave. Then it makes me be rude and just be like, well, just bye then. And I'm not doing that to you, Miss Walk. What I'm saying is that is usually what could happen, but I'm trying a different approach and trying to explain to you how that's counterproductive, because I'm here to have a conversation. This is not a one-on-one conversation. I'm bringing a conversation of all people that wants to talk about this. And it doesn't matter, Christy, whether you was Hispanic, white tea. It just doesn't matter, because white tea women married to white men is even more so the people I would like to talk to right now. Talk to everyone concerning this that's involved and have a hand in this. So global, Walk, I'm gonna come back to you so you can relax.
okay,
Let's
well,
go
I
to
wasn't
global.
that I did.
Hold on, Walk. I'm gonna come right back to you. Global, go ahead and chime in. Like, I'm not about to have that. That makes no sense. Global, go ahead and chime in.
You say what now?
You said you wanted to chime in. You was waiting, right? Go ahead.
About when we talk about YT people, a lot of YT women are in full support. A lot of them are not in fear. A lot of them are on board. They're team players, so we can't discount those either. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them swinging harder than the man in the room with them. So we can't discount those either. Um, the challenge of changing it. I want to say this right here, and I want people to really grapple with this. When you do what you have to do to maintain YT supremacy, to maintain that power to this day, to this very day, in this very hour, you have to call it something else. You can't call it a disagreement. You can't call it an advantage. You can't call it privilege. No, at some point you have to call it demonic. You have to call it pure evil. I mean, if we close our eyes and fathom what's been done to protect privilege in this country, evil is a soft word. So I think when we start to own those things, we can realize some things are what they are. And the idea that, we can, come to some type of balance, I don't see how we can even afford to have that way of thinking right now. Everything has shown us there's no way to have balance. There's no way to have balance. We got two choices. We can deal with it, or we can come up with a solution to get away from it. But those are the only available options. Nothing in front of us says that there's an opportunity to fix this. There's nothing in front of us that says, because people are comfortable with hate now. Hate is a rock star in America. Hate is the Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley of America right now. And when something become cool,
Are you able to turn that noise off? You guys, thank you for 20K. We're just about to hit 30K. Zoe and Rise and Indigenous, I'm gonna come to you in a moment.
I'll land right there. But I'm saying some things like it is what it is, and we got to start to accept that.
Accept that. Okay, I'm gonna come back to you. I'm not gonna respond right now because I want to get some other people in. Shishi, if you could read out the prompt and answer it, just the first one.
YT men, why haven't you deconstructed acism, patriarchy? And I can't see the rest of it. And all other, what's your thoughts? Yes, I can. All other, what's your thoughts? So I just wanted to agree with, I think Chrissy's her name. I think she had a really good point about men not really being leaders. They're really not. When you really, really, really think about it, men are not leaders. Their position is illegitimate. And it's the women who really provide and protect. Women provide everybody and protect for everybody that was ever born. Our bodies literally provides a protective sac to protect and nourish the baby. We literally are the embodiment and definition of provide and protect. When the baby is born, we produce colostrum that helps the baby to have a strong immune system. Our bodies produce milk. If that's not a provider, I don't know what is. If a child falls down or is injured, somebody says, "Hey, where's your mom?" They don't ask for the dad. Women provide, women protect. As far as the BLK man speaking, I think that I think a lot of things that he said was true, but I think he left out the most important thing. You cannot. It is impossible to have strong communities without having a strong family. And BLK man, they do not value marriage. They do not value as a group, Miss Walt. They do not value marriage. They do not value faithfulness to one woman. Their biggest accomplishment is having a roster as long as a highway of different women to have sex with. That is not how you build strong communities. You cannot stand against your oppressor if you're trying to do is talk down to BLK women, abandoning your children, and just talking junk about wigs and eyelashes and hair glue. That's silly. And that's where we are right now. You will never be able to confront YT supremacy with just being so fragmented as a group, as a nation, as a people. It can't happen. And we need to stop blaming YT men for everything that happens in the BLK community. We just do. It's just tired. It's played out. BLK men need to confront their oppressors. If they're not strong enough to do that right now, what they need to do is start building and raising the children that they make. That's the minimum. And I'll land. Can I
Wow.
piggyback off of
Wow,
that?
wow, 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 wow. You guys, when you first come up, can you just give your thoughts? I'd like to give everyone's thoughts in their own words. Zoe, if you could read out the first question and answer it.
YT men, why haven't you deconstructed racism and patriarchy? All others, what's your thoughts? So my response to that is, why would they deconstruct something that benefits them? Why would, if I were white, why would yes, I could have morals and things like that. But why would I deconstruct something that was meant to benefit me? And when you think about that as well, with like, think about somebody that doesn't like you at work. Think about somebody that just makes your life a living hell at work, and you probably ain't never did nothing to them. That's happened to me a lot with, honestly, with YT women. Older YT women do target younger Black and even younger YT women. Sorry, it's hard to not say the YT. But it's just that territory that I've been here longer, and they have that, it's that power trip of, I have seniority even if it's just over you. Like, so why would a person who's miserable and wants to
make you miserable as well. Like, even if they're not miserable, like, they still don't like you for some reason and they still come after you because that's just what the enemy does. Like, the enemy does that. So I hate to say that YT people in general are my enemy, but those specific aspects and those
You went on mute. You went on mute. Are you still there, Zoe? Let's tap the screen, you guys. Let's get these likes up so we can invite some more people. Let's share the live, repost the live. Oh, she's taking a long time. I'm gonna go to the next person. Wise, go ahead. Can you read out the prompt and answer it?
YT men, why haven't you deconstructed racism and patriarchy? All others, what's your thoughts? I think that we have to accept that these people have been indoctrinated with this theory of life. We paying too much attention to when they're loud instead of when they're quiet. They're the most dangerous when they're quiet. If we know the most harm that they've done to any of our people is normally when we don't find out they done hung one of our men. Well, strange fruit hanging from a tree. We don't find that out until after. That's not they don't project that out. And I think what we do is we tend to get so distracted in them being loud and boisterous instead of actually paying attention to what they're not doing. They don't know how to manifest or create anything of new. So they stay stuck in that same circle of residual sewage that they continue to repeat over and over. So it's not about them deconstructing, it's about them being able to realize that it's okay to be comfortable with not knowing anything. See, they know how to do racism. They know how to do that to the best and to the fullest of their capability. They know how to do that. Their ego won't allow them to step out and embrace their shame of they haven't invested into anything else besides that one factor. That's the problem. So once they come to the reality with themselves, and the only reason why I'm saying this is because I've been going through I'm in a phase right now in my life where I'm in a restoration phase. Like I've channeled through every chakra of my body, and now I'm at my third eye, and there's a lot of things that God is opening up for me on a daily basis. So now that I'm in this restoration phase, I have to go back and look to repair what created all of those holes. See, that race of those humans have too many holes to plug. And it's easier to punch other holes into other people instead of them taking the time and filling their holes. So of course they project. Of course they pretend like they don't know that racism actually is an issue. Because they've been indoctrinated and trained to think that that's their heritage. That's who they are. Not knowing that you're a human. You're not white. You're a human. And until they actually function and reprogram themselves to know, okay, I'm just human. Okay, I don't know. Oh, and it's embarrassing to say I don't know for a lot of people. It's extremely embarrassing. It's extremely shameful to say I don't know. I don't know how to do that. And when you've been trained to believe that you don't have to say, I don't know, unless you're only saying it to stop people that don't look like you from asking you anything. I've been in the healthcare field for a long time, and I work around a lot of women whose complexion is YT. And when it's something they don't want to answer that I may ask, or somebody else that's a minority may ask, they're very quick to say, I don't know. But you go and talk to somebody else and you don't come and ask them, they know every goddamn answer in the book. So that's something that they have to come to grips with. Now, what we have to do is we have to, as a community, we have to stop co-signing, because it's so many of us that's quick to co-sign and run with that colonized mindset in order to be a part of something. That's what we as a people have to do. But we're so much, and they have us so much in competition with each other that we can't see our own selves. So like our word teaches us, you can't see the plank in your own eye, but you can, like, if we look at how they can talk, Charlie Chris could talk about how black on black crime this and black on black this and black on black that. They got a whole plank in their own eye they pretend that they can't see. See your own plank first. Charity begins at home and then it spreads abroad. See, our families, our people went to church, actually learned the word, and actually learned to apply the word. They just go to church to just go there. They don't apply that word. They're not even getting word to be able to feed them to apply. Their word is off of brimstone and fire. So of course, if your church is they church ramped them up, at home you ramped up, well, they don't have no other choice but to take it out and spread that ramped up energy outside. But we, as our own people, we have to stop like they did when we were after the election and we all fell back. They did everything possible that they could to try to bring us out of our resting phase to get us back in this residual sewage that we're continuing to perpetuate for them now. Which, and what I really believe is a tactic for the government to throw them off again to vote wrong. For people that look like us to vote wrong again, to keep them in the system that has us continuously going against each other.
So you believe that they have all the control over black people?
No, we have you. Only thing that can control you is you.
I'm talking about black people as a collective. The way you're talking, you said they have us doing this, they have us doing
No, I'm
that.
talking about us I'm talking about the us every day, the system of what white supremacy that we have that's in this administration that's running our country right now. They have us going against each other right now in order to where they know we're not gonna come together enough when it comes election time in 2026.
All right, I hear you. I'm gonna let the she Chrissy. Does anybody want to respond to what she said? Then I'm going to indigenous.
I just feel like everybody's. I honestly believe, and I don't mean any harm, but I believe that the time has come for us to stop acting like somebody else is controlling us. I mean, I'm so tired of it because it gives space for people to behave poorly, and they can always point the finger and say, "Look, Of course, I got 5 kids by 5 different women, but they made me do it. Or I didn't get an education, but you know what? They made me do it. Or yes, when I first got in the military, I worked for Compass Bank, right smack dab in the hood, and I can't tell you how many times that bank was pew pew was I don't know if I can say the word, but it starts with an R and ends with an ed, and it was always, I won't even say it. It's just like a lot of excuses. I didn't see anybody making those guys come in there and do that. If I'm missing something, I sincerely apologize. But I just feel like we'd be better served if we kind of get honest and stop pretending like everybody's making us do this and do that. I wish it was true, but it's just not. It's just not.
Ooh, can I?
Okay, I'm gonna go to indigenous. If you can read out the first one and answer it.
Okay, yes. Greetings, everybody. White tea men, why haven't you deconstructed racism and patriarchy? All others, what's your thought? Wise was on point with everything. She didn't. You have to get in depth. The only thing is this. When we talk about okay, she said what we need to do, and she named what we need to do, but the bottom line is those little phrases that many of my elders and many of my family that agree with who we are and know who we are because we've done the research. We didn't stop history of what they told us. We knew. I always knew it didn't make sense at 7 years old. I always knew Christianity, even though I was indoctrinated into it through my family. I always knew that it didn't resonate with the nature of who I was. So I always knew it didn't make sense. It bothered me. So when I was old enough to get away from it, you know, burn your hand and you have to go through Jesus to get to God and blah, skipping, which was when I got on my own and can make my own choices. I studied everything. And in the end, the bottom line is if you don't know who you are, you have no idea. And it hurts my heart to hear them say, they didn't make us do anything, but what they did was we are so powerful as a people that we don't even understand. Let's look at the logic. It ain't white tea is the face. It's the whole world against a people on the American land called the Americans, the Amaru people. And that name does not come from what they told you. It comes from a lineage of people that they tried to erase. It was melanated all over. We built everything up in here, and the only thing that they did was took it diabolically, scheming, trickery, wrote their name. They changed the history through pen erasure. We didn't never took their names because transatlantic slave trade. I don't know why. The logic of that, no, that was engineered. The real trade was east. The Africans went east and they deflected everything. Chattel slavery. We sold you to that baby. Let's look at this logic and timeline. Who could get my men, and you know I'm talking about the brothers, who can get them in chains when they are fighting bubonic plague? They're weak, they're ill people. It wasn't no white tea. What is a white tea? A white tea is just a construct developed for a whole group of people that are not organic to this land. And whether people want to admit it or not, there is a people we see every day getting abused, getting defamed, characterized as what we are not by the whole world, by the whole world. And every day we show the greatness in us, but nobody can connect that it was a diabolical plan that took a long time. They put a lot of energy into trickery, into lying. Hunter gatherers are different from air owners. You have to read and you have to research the truth. The truth is coming out now. But unfortunately, we have our own skinfolk that are indoctrinated, which they don't end up being kinfolk because they don't know that their greatness is so deep. How could you not see? Yes, you were here. You were in Amaru. Yes, this is the real motherland. Yes, it was a plan to make every melanated person think that they are from Africa, a place that they don't tell you wasn't even structured. That they took people into this, they called it Skull Island. It was a rehab land. The real Americas is in the Americas. The real Africa, what they want to say we're African American, that was here. Morocco was here. Mecca was here. All of those names, the ancient places, was in the Americas. How can you be a motherland and you getting fed by the baby? Matter of fact, you getting fed by everybody. And they're not telling you about the contracts, the treaties between the Russians, the Pan Africans, the freaking native, the I don't know where the Navajos come in, but they specifically them who were reclassified, and I say reclassified meaning you not Native American, you were a corporation, part of the U.S. corporation. You are a corporation, U.S. corporation citizen. And everybody say, we're American, we're American. It's only one group of an American. It was American Vespucci, whatever they say. No, it wasn't. It comes from Totoshi, which goes back to Olmec, which goes back to Siberian, which goes back to who? XI. Chicago is ancient. Chicago is the real Egypt. Chicago, oh my God, it's so the real Delta. The real Delta is really what they call Egypt. Mississippi is the real Nile. I mean, it's and the information is out there, y'all. And this thing is, no one ever says,
What
why do
book
they not
can
like them so
hold
much?
on, hold on, indigenous. What book can people find to show them that Chicago's the real Egypt?
Honestly, what's happening now, the truth is being revealed. So everything that was hidden in the Smithsonian and the Library of Congress, you can go to the Library of Congress, you can go to Smithsonian to find out the truth about the artifacts, about
So when
who
I see your name
Yeah,
is
so we didn't went
indigenous,
off topic.
hold
We didn't went
on,
off topic.
that's
rare.
how
I'm
that's
gonna
totally
come to
on
you.
topic.
I'm about to let her land because she have been going a long time. I'm about to let her land. But indigenous. Let me ask you this. So okay, your name is indigenous. I'm thinking that you are implying that you are the original people, like your people are the original people of this land, correct?
My in the soil from the soil, not migrated, not born. I'm talking about mitochondrial from the soil, triple darkness. When they talk about the Bible, they weren't talking about them. It makes no
Okay.
sense logically. We have
All
to be
right. Well, I
honest.
would I would like to hear more if you can send a gift to get your spot back. But on my life, people can drop you with a money pow pow, and somebody dropped you. So indigenous, you've been dropped by a money pow pow. Again, indigenous, you've been dropped by a money pow pow. We're gonna go to rare next. Um, Rare, if you could read out the first one and answer it. But before you do that, if anybody wants to save indigenous spot, including herself, just send anything higher than a money pow pow, and you can get her back up here. Go ahead, Rare. You can read out the first one and
It
answer it.
says,
Poetic lady, I'm
"YT
sorry.
men, why
Poetic
haven't
lady.
you deconstructed racism and patriarchy?"
Poetic lady.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry,
Go
Rare.
ahead.
I'm sorry, Rare. I just want to say, if you look up the
Wise,
Choctaw.
hold on. Let him
Okay.
answer the prompt. Go ahead.
Um, I mean, I feel like they've been moving in the right direction, but I what the big question is like, what would it take more for them to deconstruct the patriarchy, in your opinion?
Wait, you said they've been moving in the right direction. Who? Who have been moving in the right
The
direction?
white tea man.
How have the white team men been moving in the right direction? Give us some details.
I mean, more than before. I mean, from being hung up in chains. I mean, we're not in chains no more. We couldn't go to school together. We could go to school.
Is
We
that
couldn't
because
compete
they
together.
they moved in the right direction, or because we fought back? So
Oh
that's
yeah, we
still
fought that. We fought that battle. But I feel like a lot of white tea people also helped fight that battle. I know there's a lot of people that's allies now. They would get down for us. I believe that. So, but that's why I said in the right direction, because there's obviously racist people. You can be racist.
Okay, so I just want more detail on how the white tea men are moving in the right direction.
Well, as I said, we've integrated. We come up from the slavery. We got rights. Jim Crow happened. We fought for civil rights. I know. I mean, just that's simple things.
Okay, could you give us more? Because you're very short on words.
I think that's just the brain cells.
Oh, it's the disrespect. I feel like I can talk to a white tea person today and they wouldn't be discriminatory towards me. Of course, we it's gonna come down to the race level. I mean, do you see white tea people as a separate race, as different? Do you see it?
Well, I just want to hear your thoughts. So you believe that they are, becoming better, they're integrating with us.
Yeah,
Um yeah. You say yeah.
100%.
Yeah, so you feel like, they're not making black men strange fruit now, so they're definitely doing so much better when it comes to racism.
Yeah, not doing it as a high, at a high rate. I feel like there's less racist than before. You know.
All right, does anybody want to rebut him before I go to the next guest? That's not
Absolutely.
who.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
Hold on.
Thank you.
Hold on. Someone that has not that already been
Oh,
introduced to the panel.
I don't got a lot of time.
Go ahead, Chrissy.
Thank you. I wholeheartedly agree with what Wise said, and being a white woman, I respectfully disagree. Rare white men are not, doing what they need to do. Neither white women, but white men specifically. They don't want you to be equal to them. I think I saw it when Obama was president, how it seemed like things were calming down. It seemed like people were coming together. Then as soon as, this last administration happened, how many people showed their true colors, and it's performative. I know racism is an awful thing, but I think misogyny is playing a bigger part in here that maybe others don't see. And I please don't think that I'm trying to minimize your experiences with racism. I'm not, but I think misogyny plays a big part in it. As a white woman who works in a domestic violence shelter, 80% of my clientele are Black women. So I think I just maybe have a little bit of a different perspective as far as what's really stemming some of these issues. And it's just my belief
You
that
you
misogyny
integrated
is
with black
playing a
people too. I
huge.
mean, let's not move the.
I'm still talking, please. Thank you. I just think that misogyny is playing the bigger part in this. And be, when I see Black men turning against their own women, um, as a woman myself, that part of it, we were talking about that a little bit yesterday, Poetic. Um, it just feels like a big slap in the face. And I'm sorry that, when I hear a Black man will throw a Black woman under the bus in a heartbeat, I find that argument very disingenuous as well. Rare. It's performative. They don't want you to be equal to them. I land.
All right, let's hear his response, and then I'm going to the next new guest. If everyone can share the live out to 20 people, all panelists, the mods will confirm. Go ahead, Rare. What's your response to her?
Yeah, yeah. My response to that, whatever's happening to to these women is wrong. But let's stick to the topic, right? You're integrating with black people too. You just said it yourself. You working with black people. You don't think a lot of other people have your same experience, and you're now realizing. I mean, you probably never. Well, I'm not gonna assume you were ever racist or anything. I wouldn't do that. But are you learning that these people are humans too? Are you? Because I feel like there's a lot of people that are experiencing this as Caucasian people. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with?
Okay, hold on. Can you respond to her without asking questions? Could you tell us what you think about her actual claims that white tea men don't think that you're equal or ever allow you to be equal?
That they don't think we're equal.
That's what she said. Can you respond to that claim she made?
Well, I think for her herself um, saying that we're as black men we're throwing our women under the bus. I think that's a fairly racist statement, and I think that you're upholding the racial divide between us at this point by saying that.
You think she's upholding the racial divide?
100%.
You don't think that you are by being obtuse towards the acism and the patriarchy that is literally oppressing our people in one way or the other? You don't
Well,
think that?
I know for a fact we've experienced racism. We've experienced racism in the past, but I'm not going to um, uh, magnify it by looking past the actual integration that has been happening in the
You
United
think the
States, looking past the
integration is
fact
the
that we,
answer? That has helped us. Okay, I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna
yeah,
let
if we want to
somebody
be
else.
equal,
Okay, we need integration to be equal. That's mind-boggling.
we can't profit off of the system that has taken advantage of us in the past.
All right, so we need integration to be equal. This sentence is mind-boggling. I think I need to put this on the prompt. Okay, I'm gonna let someone else answer the prompt so we could go to open panel. I think Jin Jin was next. If you can answer the prompt.
Hello, how y'all doing?
Hello,
Uh,
welcome.
okay, white men, why haven't you deconstructed racism and patriarchy? All others, what's your thoughts? Well, first of all, you have to understand the hierarchy that exists in America. It's built on the patriarchy, and white people represent the predominant people that's here. So they created the standard and they created the stereotypes about all the other races that exist here. So they haven't deconstructed racism because they feel like it won't benefit them. It's really about class when you think about it, because what happened was the rich YT people told the middle class YT people and the poor YT people that they are superior to all the other minorities. And they believe that. Um, and so, when it comes to the patriarchy and racism itself, they believe that they benefit from that system. So even though they can see that they're struggling just like everybody else, in their mind is something, racism is something that is taught. They're not born that way. They're taught to believe that they are still better. And so, until more of them come to the light and realize that they're not better than someone just because they were born a YT, it's always going to be something that exists. I'll land there.
Wow, definitely groundbreaking. If we could continue tapping and the panelists, if y'all can share the live. I'm waiting for everyone to share the live out with 20 people. Richard, if you could read out the first one and answer it. Richard, are you there? I see you share it. Appreciate it. If you could read out the first one and answer it. All right.
mean, yes, uh, whitey men, why haven't you deconstructed and patriotism and all others, other thoughts? Most of these guys and people they came back from way back when, even before back in the slave trade there. So I don't believe that it's something that they will want to deconstruct. They want to keep the power of the mental slave mentality. If they lose grip of that, but then they will lose power on all of us, and then there will not be a balance. There will be a balance between us and them, or probably we might even surpass them. Like years ago when we used to live in Africa, the civilizations in Africa were better than the Europeans living in. The Europeans were living in huts when Africa had civilization. So therefore, the black man was always on top until the white man came and take over and did the slave trade and the other stuff. So that's the reason why they probably would not want us to regain that power once more. And I land.
All right. Very interesting. Before I go to Ava, did anybody want to rebut what Rare said the second time? because nobody responded. I kind of left it
I,
alone.
I would like to say something.
Go ahead.
Rare, you have to understand what Chrissy just told you was the fire alarm in the house. So with her providing you that insight of growing up in that environment, and see, even to what Richard just said, you're you're conditioned to the point where you our black men are never going to elevate back to their original state because we have too many men, our own men, quick to side with colonization instead of actually looking and finding out deep down what's rooted in them to be them. And I know, and I'm most likely you're probably 25 or younger. And I'm not trying to make it as if that's a issue, but me, I'm 49, and my generation of some black men that took the time to educate themselves to know the history of where we originated from. A lot of us, yes, we were already here in the Americas. That's why they try so hard. That's why it's such a big issue on us not receiving reparations. They already know this was our land. They already know that. So that's why
Okay.
it's so
Let's
much.
let's give
It's
him a chance to respond before it goes too long for him. Go
okay.
ahead, Rare.
You know what? That's really what I was looking for. I was looking for that the answer to the question in the beginning. What I said, what would have to be done in the government or the system for us to feel like that the racism and patriarchy was, deconstructed, right? For me, I believe in the correct reparation. I know some people might be against that, but I feel like we should get reparation. I mean, especially if it's people like you. You saying you're older, you experience some things. I mean, that has an effect on the whole society, obviously. But that's why I was saying, we moved. White people were moving in the right direction, but like she has her personal accounts of people being what she believes is racist. So
But you have
But
to
you talking about
understand she was
reparation?
conditioned.
Hold on, Wise. You talking about reparation? You kind of pivoting and moving the goalposts now at this point because you're taking out the fact of the claim that you made that black men are not doing those things that Chrissy mentioned to black women. You didn't respond to that. Also, with white teen men not wanting you guys to be equal, you didn't respond to that. Now you're talking about reparations. You're talking, and
well,
then on top of that, you brought up integration. So you believe the only way to fix the problem is to integrate with them. And I'm almost thinking you're insinuating to mix with, to procreate with them also. So, I mean, that's a problem because you're going everywhere. Rare, you can respond briefly, and then I'm gonna go to the next guest.
yeah, I just believe in the equality. I think in a lot of people's mindsets, there is some equality there. I think people respect us, but when it comes to systematically, there's been an effect, but I don't think there's trying to drive it even further because we know the history. I just feel like it's been an effect that's going on right now. It's still an effect. I don't think we're going through the same things as Jim Crow and people that's like 60 years. Oh, and before they go, that's why I'm advocating for the reparation.
Okay, so you're saying the solution is reparations. But are you at least acknowledging the issues that are going on? Because you keep saying they're getting better, they're getting better. It's not going to go back to the way it was.
Well,
That's
yeah, I think we should have some positivity, and we shouldn't be sitting here thinking that just because they're white tea, they think they're better without them even telling you that. Because really, what you're thinking is just because I'm black, I'm worse, and that's not how we should be thinking as a society. We should already think we're better. We should already think we're number one because we're that. We're that's who we are. We can't be anything else.
so
Can I,
you so
can I
you so basically what you're insinuating is that white tea people as a collective don't believe that they're superior. Okay, I'm gonna let Jen respond to you. Yeah, I heard you. Let me let Jen
uh,
respond to you.
Rare, that's not reality. Systemic racism is still a huge problem in this country. The only difference is that they're not running around wearing hoods right now. Now they're wearing business suits. We know that systemic racism still exists because we, as BLK people, we experience it every day. From when you go to try to buy a home, when you're working on your job, you look around and there's very few of people that look like you on that job. Um, and we just saw it in this last election where you had someone who was not qualified versus a BLK woman who was qualified. So this idea that they've gotten better, they haven't gotten better in terms of racism. They've gotten better at hiding it.
But if you
So hold
what
on, hold on 1 second. Most people, most YT people don't come out and say they racist. They just follow you around in the store when you're shopping. They just go along with the stereotypes that if you elevate your voice, all of a sudden you're the angry black woman. Okay, so it's that little stuff like that. And as far as
they
reparations,
look at dusty
we
white
really
people
wouldn't need
weird.
reparations
They
if
don't
they
look
would
at
just stop with the systemic racism and just allow all people to exist in this country and go based on your merit and your qualifications when it comes to jobs, when it comes to buying a home, when it comes to purchasing a vehicle. Okay, it's within their power to end racism,
so
but
can
they
I ask
choose
you
not
something?
to.
Well, hold
So
on, Rare. I'm gonna come back to you. You need to pay attention to mod announcements also, Rare. I need everyone on the panel to pay attention to the mod announcements. The mods are not dropping them for no reason. Ava, go ahead. You can answer the first one.
Thank you. White tea men, why haven't you deconstructed racism and patriarchy, all others? What's your thoughts? So, there's only one reason why they haven't stopped, because they don't want to. They love what's going on. They love racism. They love patriarchy because it benefits them and only them. They love it. That's why they say they want equality. That's and as well as I'll respond to him later. But yeah, basically they love it. It benefits them. It will always benefit them. And because they're selfish, they might say they want equality here and there, but that's just to kind of get our hopes up, and that's the only reason why. But that's basically my opinion on that. And am I able to respond to Rare?
Go ahead.
Okay, so Rare, you're basically saying thank you so much, white tea people, for doing the bare minimum. That's basically what I'm hearing from you. When you came into this conversation, you literally said, "Oh, they're doing better because they're not. It's not the same as back then. We are in the same spaces at them. There's no this, and that. They're doing the bare minimum. Understand? They're doing the bare minimum. They're allowing us in their spaces. That was already supposed to happen. That should have already been the case. So you're basically saying, again, thank you for doing the bare minimum. And I find that very disgusting coming from a black man. And the fact
okay,
that you
so
don't
does
know
it?
your own self-worth is crazy.
Okay, so even though you believe it's the bare minimum, but um, do you not
No,
believe it's
having them
better than
be in
before?
your spaces is not the bare minimum. Like, that
Well,
doesn't make no
Ava, he started
sense.
responding, and you had let him finish.
Okay.
And mods, please check mod messages. in the chat. Mods on the panel, please don't forget to do mod duties on the panel. And let's continue to tap the screen, you guys. Everyone, let's tap the screen. The likes are starting to fall behind. And if I mute you, please stay on mute. I don't like talking over people's feedback in the background. Let's tap the screen, you guys. We should be at 50K by now. It's been like an hour. Yeah, it's an hour I've been streaming. If we can get it to 50K, that's the goal right now. Rare, go ahead and finish your response to her.
I think it's something in the American Black community.
Let's tap the screen. Let's give him a moment. I guess he got a phone call. Yosef, you're going to be next. Shishi, Richard, Chrissy, I know you shared the live out. Wise and Jen, if you could share the live out. I'm going to come back to Rare. So it seems like he might have took that call. Yosef, you can read out the first one and answer it. Shishi, I know you shared. That's what I was saying. I know you shared. The people I called, I know they shared.
But YT man,
He ran.
why haven't you? Yeah, I need my glasses.
Okay, let me read it out to you. White team men,
Thank
why
you.
haven't you deconstructed racism and patriarchy?
I could just give you from my experience. Okay, I've seen when they say the integration. The only reason why they wanted the integration, it was a form of control. And the brother that was speaking about the reparation, I just, that's all I'm on. I'm a militant, an activist. We don't need to be equal with them. I don't even want to be equal with them. I have YT friends, associates. I'm gonna say associates, and they're cool. And I asked the question: do you think black people should get their reparation? They said, why not? I apologize for what my ancestors did. How can I fix it? I just really can't really say. I'm gonna listen to your panel, sis.
Okay, I'm gonna come back to you. Yeah, reparation is a whole nother topic that maybe eventually I'll have a prompt about. But I mean, I'm not going to police the direction if you guys talk about it. All I ask is that people start tapping. Tony, go ahead and answer the first question on the prompt. Tony, are you there? Okay, I'm gonna come back to Tony. It's pretty much open panel. If you're on Coffee Cup, you get dropped. Moz, please don't come up here just to get on Coffee Cup.
I'm sorry, Poetic Lady. I was trying to unmute.
Okay, go ahead. If you could read out the first one and answer it.
Yeah, I can. Thanks for having me up. YT men, why haven't you deconstructed racism and patriarchy? All others, what's your thoughts? Do I need to read all three of them or just that one?
No, not right now. Let's do one at a time.
Okay. That's an excellent question. My thoughts on that is that they don't. I think. I don't know if I can say the word ism, racism. I just said it, but I think that it's useful. I think that it's a useful tool in this society. Just when you look at the prison industrial complex, that ism makes millions of dollars for communities in which those prisons are placed. And I think it's useful in other ways as well. You need an underdog. I don't, it's hard to explain all the ways in which it is useful, but I perceive that it's useful. They don't want to, because they could easily do away with that, but they choose to hold on to it. They could easily just analyze it in the sense of deconstruction, but they're not even doing that. So that's my thought. That's my thoughts on that. I think it's useful to do.
So since they haven't done anything about it, have black men just settled with that and just like, okay, I'm gonna let them be in charge because you guys are men, right? So how can another man control what you do? So why? I guess my question is, so let's talk about black men as a collective. Why have you guys settled with dealing with patriarchy then? If you feel like they should change it and they just haven't, because that's like a
We
man to man thing. I'm
a lot of
asking.
black.
I'm asking Tony. Tony, you can mute your mic.
Okay, so I didn't realize I was muted. I don't think that black men have settled. I mean, when you look at just I mean, you were to go back, and even today, you see. I mean, just step back in time for a second. You saw the civil rights movement led by black men. You saw the Black Panthers. You've seen a lot of opposition to it, really with disastrous results. Now I'm going to say something that might not be popular to say. Um, I'm a Christian person, and I do believe that that let me frame it this way. I believe that every nation that's in power, I believe God placed them in power, and I base that just on a study of the Bible. When you look at the Bible and you see God saying, "I'm going to give this land to the Pezerites. I'm going to give this land to this nation, this land to this nation."
Wait, hold on. Are you insinuating that the Bible has made you submissive to the white man?
No, no, I'm not insinuating that. What I'm saying is that um, God is the one who establishes a nation as an authority, and He does say to submit to authority. Now, when He does hold any of God does hold an oppressive authority and an abusive authority accountable. Okay, He does do that. We understand that God is just, but I believe that all authority is instituted by God. So, in that sense, I only say that to say this: what the Lord has put in place, you can't just easily uproot it. In most cases, you can't uproot it because it's established by Him. So,
So you
but
think that God has put it in place for people not to be equal and to be oppressed by systems, and to have whitey people on power using patriarchy and ageism to oppress minorities and women. Well, I guess minorities is women, double minority. But you know what I'm saying? Like now you're putting that God is allowing this, and so we're not supposed to do nothing. Are you men are not supposed to do anything? Go ahead, Tony. You can respond, and then I'm gonna let somebody else respond to you, and then I'm gonna go to Big Papa. Tony, you're on mute. I'm always gonna mute you when I'm talking.
I said, I'm sorry. Okay, so let me give you an analogy of what I'm saying. God has placed parents over children, right? But that doesn't mean that God condones sexual abuse, physical abuse, all the evils that parents do. He doesn't condone murder. He doesn't condone any of that. But still, He's placed them in authority over children. Likewise, um, the YT nation is in authority, and they've been placed there by the Lord, and their time is now. So I'm saying it in that sense. I'm not now. I don't believe the Lord nor I supports all the systems of oppression that they've instituted. They're accountable for that. They are gonna be held accountable for that. God does not uphold, and I don't either, any unjust authority and everything that goes along with that.
Well,
So
hold on. So you're basically insinuating that you're waiting on God to fight the white team man on oppressing your people? Go ahead. You can unmute your mic.
no, I'm not saying that, hon. What I'm saying is that what the Lord has instituted, we cannot we cannot uproot that until their time is up. When their time is up, just like when our time is up, there came a black plague and wiped us out. When their time is up, it'll be up. They'll be easy. We won't even have to struggle to take them down. They'll be taken
So
down.
basically, this causes you to be enabled and not to do anything. That's what you keep saying, that you just need to wait till God takes them down. So you're indirectly implying that. But I'm gonna come back to you. Big Papa, welcome up. If you can read out the first one and answer it. Anybody that wants to respond to Tony, hold your thoughts.
Hey, guys, what's up, guys? I'm going to try to read it. I may ask you, host, if you don't mind reading it for me. I
I'll
can't.
read it for you.
Thank you.
White team men, why haven't you deconstructed racism and patriarchy?
So for me, I think that's an individual thing. I mean, I'm only held accountable for me as a man. You know, as you see, Just from my background, my dad is a Native American, my mom is Irish, my grandmother straight off the boat from Ireland, my dad's people, of course, born and raised here from whenever, whatever, right? But I don't look at other white tea men and think that like they're their own people. They move their own way, and at the end of the day, I can only control who comes across my path, who only is in front of me. So I understand what he was saying with God and this, that, and the third, and I don't understand the overcoming thing. I know that there's a lot of educated other background folks, be it BLK or others that run for office or run for position. And hopefully, you can read in between the lines. The sad part in 2025, and it's going to be this for a long time, that racism is never going to go anywhere as long as we're sitting here pointing fingers. It hurts me to see this, but I can't control anything but what's in front of me.
Do you believe you have white tea privilege that could help make some changes?
I think so. By default, I guess if you look at me from the outside looking in, um, I don't like to use. I cringe hearing white tea privilege, but I understand it. I do understand how it comes across in certain scenarios. I do know, because I am in radio, I am in TV, I do sports broadcasting. I use as much as I can to be a voice for the right reasons and not do it for the wrong, if that makes sense.
Okay. Thank you, Big Papa, for chiming in. You guys, if you want to do rebuttals or respond, you're welcome to. Remember Cash App for questions. And hold on, you guys. Everyone can stay on mute while I'm talking, please. And remember Cash App for questions. And if you want to drop someone, support the live goal, send a money pow pow, put their name in the chat. We'll start open panel with Jin Jin.
Yeah, I just want to respond to Tony. First of all, God is not a him. That's the first mistake, or the first comment that you made that was wrong. Secondly, God did not place a YT people in charge of anything. They are small in terms of population worldwide. They just happen to be predominant here in the United States. And the reason they are is because they are the most violent. Okay? That's why they are in control. It has absolutely nothing to do with religious beliefs. It's weird to me that people say stuff like that, not understanding that within Christianity comes Jesus. All of the things that Jesus talks about, YT people, especially if they are against that. So don't try to claim that they're Christian. They're not. They've always claimed to be that, even when they had white hoods on. Okay? So they are not really religious people. They use it as a farce to hide their own agendas. And as far as people living, BLK men in particular could help our community by going to school, educating themselves, getting decent paying jobs, instead of hanging out on the corner, instead of selling smugs, and instead of doing horrible things to black women. That could be the start of fixing communities. I'll land there.
Panel's open, you guys.
I'd like to respond to that if I could.
Can I?
Go ahead, Tony. You're the first one I heard talk. It's open panel, you guys. Whoever goes
Okay.
first goes first.
Okay. Okay. I respect your opinion. I really do. I don't share it, and in spite of what you said, I hold to my views. And secondly, I don't know what type of BLK men that you're talking about, but I've worked a trade since I was 18. I've never been to prison or jail. I don't abuse women. I don't know what a lot of times you guys come on these lives and you talk to BLK men who have nothing to do with the riffraff that you associate with or that you're around. But this BLK man has nothing to do with that. My life is very productive. My wife is at work. My kids are in college, and I'm getting off work, actually driving home right now. So what you're talking about, I don't know what type of men you hang around and what your life consists of, but it has nothing to do with my life. Nothing.
When I was
Okay.
speaking, I was talking about the collective. See, that's another problem. You lack the ability to comprehend. Nobody is attacking you personally. I was just coming up at you about what you said. It's weird that y'all cannot talk about BLK men as collective. You can only talk about him, when you're talking about yourself. That's weird because BLK women, we could talk about the horrible things that BLK women do. We have no problem calling out when BLK women do bad things. So it's weird that you can't talk about BLK men as a collective, because if it wasn't a collective, y'all wouldn't be incarcerated. So for you to sit there and say, well, it's not me, of course it's not you, but it's a lot of y'all out there, a lot of BLK men out there that are incarcerated. They didn't get there by mistake.
What percentage of BOK men do you think are incarcerated, man?
Okay, the mods are not dropping Cash App for questions for no reason. You have to send your Cash App first, um, before you ask a question on the platform.
How much are you asking to ask a question?
Okay. It's in the comments. They've been dropping it. It's $5 Cash App to do questions. They've been dropping it over and over. And I continue to say, everyone, please pay attention to the mod announcements in the comments. They're not dropping it for no reason. I even said it when I'm doing the mod duties. Cash App for questions, $5 Cash App. Your questions will get platformed, whatever question you would like to ask. Also, if you want to drop someone, you send a money pow pow to drop someone. So, Tony, while you're making up your mind with that, the Cash App is in the comments. Um, Wise, would you like to chime in on anything?
Yes. So with the the religion thing that Tony was speaking to, um, the verbiage that you just expressed is the conditioning of that slave mindset, that the religion that they taught to slave, as well as they taught to those that were crack whippers, because everybody that sat in those sermons, with that brimstone hell fire type sermons, they received that same conditioning. We as and what Jinjin, I think what Jinjin was trying to convey is, when they filtrated the black community with drugs to support their
You gotta
war.
say D Rugs. You gotta say
Oh,
D
I'm
Rugs.
sorry. Okay. What you say I have to say, poet?
D Rugs.
The rugs
D as in dog. D
and
Rugs.
rugs.
Yeah, you can't say
Okay,
that word.
got you. Okay, so when they infiltrated us with D rugs, um, a lot of our young men were, and I'm only saying this because when I was in high school, a lot of our young men disconnected from school to get that tidbit insight that us as women obtained from school. I had a history teacher who told me he made sure that I took U.S. history, his class, as well as I had to follow up with taking civics. He said, because you're going to have to educate a lot of people of your generation once you become an adult, because they don't get that YT has always, and he was a YT instructor, that YT have always pushed the South will rise again. And by our young men being distracted by the money that they needed to have in the household in order to survive, those people that was in power at that time knew that. That's why they put those drugs, those D-rugs in our community to continue to break down our black men. And then the ones that didn't fall for the trick of the going to the P house, they would be satisfied with what YT people offered to them. Now, if this man was telling me this at the age of 16, and I'm watching it as it's starting to fruition, and I hate that
Okay,
that young
let
men.
let let who are you directing that to? Let them respond, Because you said a lot already. I don't. They don't need too much to respond. Everyone, let's keep it under 2 minutes.
Well, I was responding to Tony with the
Okay, let's
with
let
the
Tony respond to what you said so far, because you said a lot.
I don't agree with you at all. Um, uh, I, I actually had a friend who did that in the '80s when it was first hitting it, and um, he dropped that and he went to work. His dad was in aircraft mechanics, and he went to work under his father, and he's been doing that ever since. And one of the things that he told me was that the lure of it was the fast money. It wasn't something that we needed. We didn't need that to survive. But anytime that you can make quick money, it is a temptation. It's not survival. Okay, these guys could have went out there and got jobs instead of selling poison to the vulnerable single mothers who were getting small checks and taking all their money and hooking them on rugs and causing them to sell themselves and even their daughters. I'll never justify what these fools did. I grew up in the hood. Okay, I went to school. I didn't do that, and there was no necessity to do it. So, if you're of the frame of mind that was something that we needed to do to survive, we did not need CRACK. We did not need to give that crap to our community. That has nothing to do with survival. That's the most selfish and evil thing that you can do to a community next to. I put that in the same category as grape and molestation. You're in the same category if you believe that that's some sort of survival thing that you needed to do. So I reject that completely. Grew up in the hood and uh, took less. I'd rather take less and help my community with less than to get rich off them by her harming them. So I renounce that nonsense. Um, the other thing is that the reason I responded to her in the way that I did is because she's using the second person. She's using you. When you say you guys or you guys this or you guys that, I'm included in a group, in a collective. And the reason I excluded myself, and I exclude not just myself but numerous other BLK men, is because I believe this: the people that you're talking about, a lot of times people have a tendency to speak about the people that they choose to hang around, that they choose to be with, and they assume that most are like that. Most BLK men do not have prison records. They don't they ain't sitting they're not incarcerated. You're talking about a small number. BLK men are already a very small percentage, but it's an even smaller number that's incarcerated and that has all these issues with law enforcement and the law. I'm not included. None of my friends are included, and I know a whole host of other BLK men that ain't included in that. So this 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 outlook that you have about now racism is something that we all experience. Barack Obama experiences that. Michelle even spoke on that. Okay, we don't. None of us escaped that. Dr. Martin Luther King didn't escape that. Nobody escapes that. No BLK man escapes that. But as far as prison and selling rugs, no, we ain't all involved in that nonsense. I'm gonna rest there.
Can I respond, poetic?
Panel's open, you guys.
Okay, so uh, uh, BLK men represent 5 times the amount of the incarcerated versus the white man. So it's 5 times more incarcerated. As of 2019, they represent 30% of the population in prison. So just because it's not you and it's not your people doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And as far as the epidemic or the selling of smugs, a lot of BLK men did do it. And guess what? They didn't just sell to women and children. They sold it to anyone that wanted to buy it. In the beginning, they did not think that it was going to turn into what it turned into. And yes, it was about the fast money. But I say this to say that BLK men have not done the same thing that BLK women have done to progress in this country. And it shows. I'll land there.
A quick mod announcement. Thank you everybody in for joining. I know you're enjoying the conversation. Could we get the likes up to 50K, working our way up to 60K? Our goal is to get to at least 50K every hour, which that will be an extra 10. Also, you can give the host a lovely heart me by her name. She also wants you would like for people to subscribe to her YouTube channel at Poetic Lady. You also can subscribe to her channel here as well, and all the links are in the bio. Also, you can send a money pal to drop a panelist off the live if you don't like what they're saying. So I'm going to answer the prompt. YT men, why haven't you destructed racism and patriarchy or others? What's your thoughts? I truly believe that the YT men will not deconstruct what they created and what they benefit from. There's levels to this. That's why they have always maintained. Just off of that, if you come up here, just automatically have your cell phone mute. It's kind of rude when someone's talking and you come on a panel and don't mute yourself.
Oh, you gotta mute it. Like when you join, like it don't give it automatically on.
Sir, you have free will to mute yourself.
It does. I don't
Okay,
know.
let's continue. Let's.
But yeah, they're not interested in destructing something that they benefit from. It's all about power and ego on that side. So after answer the problem, I also wanted to say something to Tony. Tony came up here and was one of those guys that, oh, I don't know that type of man. I'm not that type of man. When people can clearly look around and see that those type of things happen in the hood, we do have data on that as well. Just by saying that you wouldn't do these things doesn't mean that somebody else wouldn't do. A lot of men have come up on this panel and said they have done it based off of survival. Even older gentlemen that was around during that time have said that. It's just like, you put dogs in a cage, you give one dog kibbles and bits, then you put steak in a cage with another dog. What you think those dogs gonna do? I'm gonna catch you for that question as well, Poetic, after this. You know that those other dogs, once they get a taste of steak, they're gonna tear each other down to get to that one piece of steak because they never had steak, because they only ate kibbles and bits. So for you to sit up here and think that people that live in the hood is not gonna do certain things like that for survival, what I do think is that for them to do it to their own people, that was destructive and that it was really tore us down. I would rather for them had to sell it to other races of people. That's why if you ever notice that once it start comes into their community, they start cracking down on the laws. They start making things illegal. So you gotta stop trying to pretend like things are not happening and that we're just talking out the side of our necks when we can clearly see that these are the things that happen in predominantly Black neighborhoods.
Wow, that was definitely groundbreaking. Question mark, share the live out. Miss Dangerous, could you reiterate your question so we could platform it? And if every, thank you guys, we got to 50K finally. Go
So
ahead.
my question was, and I'm gonna send you the cash rate. So I heard a gentleman talk about how it can be with poverty and stuff. So basically, if you got dogs in cage, right, and you only just feed one set of dogs kibbles and bits, right, all they do is eat kibbles and bits, and then the other dogs are over there eating steak. So they know what steak is. You keep feeding them steak, they're going to be like, all right, I'm adjusting to the steak. But then when you throw that steak in the cage with the other dogs that never had a taste of steak, they're going to fight and tear each other apart to get to that piece of steak. And that's how like it is with poverty, because even though we survive off of what we have, other races think that we are doing good because we make it look surviving, but we actually are struggling under the surface. So in other words, a lot of times people have to do what they have to do to survive. And that's what I take from people who say, oh, they put the smugs in the community, so we had to do it just to survive and take care of our family. So he just kind of make it seem like he had a choice, but some other people don't have that choice. Some other people don't have the guidance. Some other people don't have people to show them the way on to how to make the money. Because a lot of people in the hood be thinking they too good to work at McDonald's. And that's still a job. That's still better than smelling smugs. But, some people like the fast, the easy way. Just like, when young women want to go and do the thing for money, taking their clothes off of money, they can still go get a
But what
job
is
at the
the
mall.
question, Jasmine?
Oh, my question was him is that about the dog analogy. Like, what you think a dog is going to do if they never had steak before?
Okay, Tony, if you can answer that.
Um, Jesus Christ. They're going to eat the steak. But here's the thing. I don't agree with the dog analogy. I think it really lowers the expectations. And I didn't say that those things didn't exist. She put a lot of words in my mouth that I didn't say. It Rugs were dumped into our community. Um, there is definitely a lot of BLK men that decided that they want to take that route. They didn't have to take that route. It was not what I said was that it was not a survival route. It was a route of greed. Okay, everybody that I knew who took that route, um, they had small money. They were barely making it, and what the Rugs did was it hooked them and made them homeless because they couldn't afford that. They couldn't afford the Rugs. People who had bus driving jobs end up getting, go trying to work and smoke and end up losing their jobs, losing their homes. People who had small checks from the state, from the county, end up, being put on the streets and being sold. It made everything worse. You frame that as some type of survival. It had nothing to do with survival. It had to do with greed. And even when they saw that it was harming the community, they were consumed by greed. Okay, so you and I are going to agree to disagree, Ms. Danger, because your take on things and my lived experience seeing that stuff, and I even know the people who were in that, and how money even changed their personalities. It is not as you say. Okay, I knew these people a lot, most of these people personally, and they had a choice. They chose to, they chose to do what they did. Okay, and it wasn't just BOK men. You had a lot of BOK women who were outselling the men, had made names for themselves in the hood. Okay, some of them got hooked in their own stuff and got turned out. So I mean, what you're saying, I hear you, but nah, I'm not gonna turn this into no. It was needed for survival. It was really it was selfish and predatory the whole time. I'll land there.
Was predatory. It was predatory by the white man who put those drugs in your neighborhoods in the first
D-Rug,
place. I'm a
D-Rug.
white woman.
Say
D-Rugs.
D-Rug.
I apologize. I apologize. I think it's interesting when I hear someone, especially, quote scripture or whatever it may be, that, the man is supposed to lead, the man is supposed to be the wise one, the man is this, yet wants to take no accountability or responsibility for how this world and communities have turned out. And that goes for all men, black, white, Hispanic, Arab, I don't care. I think it's disingenuous when I heard like the man earlier saying, well, it doesn't affect me. So, and that's the problem is men are self-centered. And this is why we, especially white men have been doing this for thousands of years before America was even a country. We went against each other. White people were unaliving each other. YT people, y'all just became the next victims. And when I hear you defending this based on your anecdotal experiences, well, I'm going to tell you a lot of those times when those YT men are friends in your face, they're calling you the N-word behind your back. I know. I lived in those houses. I grew up with those men. Those are my fathers, our uncles, our brothers. It's good to want to believe, but we need to start dealing with some facts here. Men are the problem. White men are the first problem. Black men are the next problem.
Wow, that was groundbreaking, Chrissy. Um, Chrissy, not sure what happened to you as soon as you did that groundbreaking message. You got kicked off. I'm not sure why. But let's continue to tap, you guys. We're almost to 60K. Question mark. Read out the first one and answer it. And NBA, now that the prompt is about you, why are you not coming up? Go ahead. Question mark. Well, actually, we'll go to Tony because he's taking
No, I
forever.
was.
When I calling you, you need to be ready. It like slows down the show.
Yeah,
Tony, what's
yeah.
your thoughts on what Chrissy just said?
It's that's like the kettle calling the pot black. YT women and YT men have been collective in racism for since Emmett Till, since everything. I mean, initially, when you just look at the civil rights accomplishments, sex was never even supposed to be included in it. They literally came in and undermined that and took the very things that was meant to remedy it for BOK men. So a YT woman saying what she is saying, no, BOK men and YT men are not the problem. The problem with this society has always been YT women and YT men. Okay, I'm I'm not his equal. I'm not standing beside him. You are. So let's not get that role confused. You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Okay, let's
I'm,
hear Chrissy's. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead,
I'm
Tony.
just,
Oh, hold on,
um,
Chrissy. Tony, you were still talking. You guys, please say you land your plane because once
okay,
you
I'll say
pause,
that.
everyone thinks you're done.
Yeah, it's outrageous how she tries to reframe history. BLK men are a very very oppressed minority, and yeah, the community was when I'm speaking, I'm almost speaking to the exclusion of you, Chrissy, and your people, because your people dumped the stuff into our community. I'm speaking to the strong black men who did not take the bait and who stood on business and said, you know what, I'll take less before I destroy my community. I'm speaking to them. I'm not saying the problem didn't exist. I'm not saying that there was not those who were tempted, but make no mistake about it. You are not side by side with BOK women, and I am not side by side with YT men. We don't stand side by side. You and a YT man stand side by side. Okay, that was from Emmett Till, that was from MLK, and that was when the civil rights legislation was passed. And they put first sex was not even included in it, but they put SMEX in there. You basically came in and took all the benefits that belong to the BOK man. Okay, so with this, you're a minority that really wasn't a minority, oppressor turned minority. Okay, because your oppressor has been your own YT man. It got nothing to do with me, a Hispanic man, an Asian man, or any other race of man. It is your YT man. Okay, I ain't got nothing to do with oppressing you. You oppress me. Read my history before you come with this nonsense. I mean,
I didn't say you
No,
oppressed
let him
me.
say he land his plane.
yeah, I land right there.
Okay, go ahead.
I didn't say you oppressed me. I said you oppress your own women, first off. Second off, I agree with what you said. I said it's white men and white women. I find it funny that you're so hard on me and calling me out as a white woman and defending white men when I've been a victim of white men myself. You had the right to vote before white women did, if you want to go there.
Ooh.
So even you just being a man was still more valuable as us white women who stood next to these, guys our whole lives. You were still saw as more valuable than us at one point. Okay. I'm not changing history. I'm just saying things that you don't like to hear.
Oh
Now,
wow.
the, the
Please
only
say you
way we
land your
can.
plane, you guys, so everyone
Oh,
will
I
turn
wasn't.
to
I
talk.
wasn't done. Sorry, I was
Okay,
just taking a breath. Sorry, dear.
go ahead.
It's an emotional subject for everybody. I I'm sorry to sound redundant. I think he's proving my point when I said earlier that a lot of this is disguised as racism when it's really just misogyny. Um, when he said YT women took the black man's right to something. I think that comment right there was so misogynistic, and I don't even think he realizes it. I never said that you were oppressing me. I said that you are oppressing your own women and you're sticking up for the person who oppressed you. Y'all are the simps for other men. Y'all want the power the white man has. Y'all use your religions, you use your laws, you use your violence, and black men are just as guilty as white men in every regard. So you can deny it all you want, Tony, but black men, if there is still a problem, black men are perpetuating it today and they're making it worse because you are throwing your own people under the bus, especially the women that have always stood beside you. Eileen.
Go ahead,
Uh,
Tony.
Oh,
Chrissy, I'm sorry. I'm gonna let somebody else go. You
Oh,
are the most delusional white tea woman that I've ever heard speak in my life. Um, you need to go. I'm not even going to explain this to you, but I'm going to suggest to you that you go run your version, your understanding of history by somebody who actually understands BLK history, and um, just get a real take on it. Because I don't want to insult you, but everything that you just said is just an outright lie. I'm
I
gonna
know
let.
all these things
well,
from
hold
Black
on. He didn't
women.
say land his plane.
I land my plane.
Okay, question mark. Go ahead. Hold on. We're gonna get some other people in there, and we'll go back to open panel.
This like bad service. It's like
Question
bad
mark.
service
Read
on
out the first prompt and answer it.
it's bad
Please
service,
do
though. That's what
not
I'm trying to tell you.
start.
Okay.
Okay, you already know where you're at. This is real raw conversations, and it might get heated because we're talking about stuff that is controversial topics. So just be quiet and answer the prompt. You're a regular, you like to troll. You know when you come here it says controversial topics, real people, real answers, raw conversations. If you don't like it, you could leave. Answer the prompt.
No, it's not that I don't like it. It's
Okay,
just
you're
like
here every
it's
day.
bad
Just read out
service.
the prompt and answer it.
What do we got here? YT man, why haven't you deconstructed racism and patriarchal and all others? All others. What's your thoughts?
It doesn't say patriarchal. It says patriarchy.
Oh my bad. I can't really see.
Can't
Okay.
really.
I mean, I wouldn't know. I'm not a YT man, but um, I say it's been. I mean, it's gonna. They're gonna always be racist. Like it's just in their blood. It's
Tony,
not.
don't run. Go ahead.
They're gonna always be racist. It's in their blood. So like as we can see, like even when they was in the Caucasus Mountains, when they fled there, fleeing from persecution from everyone else, like they always just hated everyone. That's like their natural. It's their natural vibe. So you can't really get around it. It's just in their heritage. Um,
We'll
yeah.
land the first one. I'm gonna come back to you. You have a lot of noise in your background. Jen, you wanted to say something? It's open panel.
well, I was gonna address Tony, but since he ran, I want to address him. But I
You
will
can
address
still
question
address
mark.
what he said because everyone still heard it.
Okay, well, Chrissy hit a nerve when she said what she said because it exactly is true. Because on this app, we see this every day. The red pill rhetoric, the YT supremacist rhetoric that BLK men be regurgitating is crazy. So for him to sit up here and pretend that that's not true, everything that Chrissy said was true. I agree with her 100%. What question mark just said about racism being in their blood? Racism is taught. Nobody is born racist. It's something that people are taught and they learn it. And I'll land there.
Okay, but what about
Cash out for questions.
all right, okay, look, I'm gonna say this. It was this thing, like when they had you saying that it's taught, but it was this thing that experiment that they put. It was a young white T girl, a young like they was like real young, not even being able to to get taught racism or anything of that nature. But they had a black doll and they had a white T doll and they had a mixed doll and it was all like in the middle. And like they was asking these little kids like, oh, which one is dirty? Oh, which one is pure? Which
I
one
think
is
everyone knows about that. What's your
okay?
question
Everyone
about
knows
it?
about that, but that just goes to show what I let's prove my point that it's really not taught. Like these kids, they got it embedded in them. So yeah.
That just shows it gets
That's
taught early. But go ahead, Jen.
yeah, that shows that they just learn from what's around them and what they see. That doesn't mean that they were born like that.
Question mark.
Um, when I said what I said about Black men, I just want to make it very clear that this wasn't something that I just made up in my head. This is something that I learned when listening to Black women. So if you have a problem with me saying it, then you probably have a problem with them saying it as well. Um, I learned this trying to listen, trying to learn, trying to deconstruct being racist because every white person is racist. And if they say otherwise, they're freaking lying. Okay. But I do feel like there are a lot of people putting in the work and trying to learn here. I feel like Black women are the biggest, the person of all the misjustices in the world, they are the ones that have suffered the most by the hands of even their own men. So when I sound upset and you might feel like I'm throwing men under the bus, you have to face the realities that y'all have not been advocates for your own women. I'm fighting harder for them than you are, but than that other guy who was up here was. Um, we're trying to
She did
learn. I'm
not say
trying.
land her plane. Let her talk.
Bro, she went on mute, bro.
Sorry,
Let her
I just got a lot
talk.
of things in my head and I'm trying to keep it straight. I
But
do
no, don't
apologize for the
worry.
long
He's
pause.
rushing you. You literally just start talking. Like, seriously.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm trying to learn here. The more I learn, the more I realize that um, men are the problem. And sorry. The reason I mentioned earlier, I think you remember, Poetic, I mentioned that I was Mexican. I didn't mention that as a form of, like as an excuse for something. I mentioned it because I've been a victim of racism by white people as well. I know I look white, but I'm Hispanic. I moved from New York City to Midwest, Hobunk town, and I was the only girl with black hair there, and I walked in and they treated me the way white people treat you. Okay. I know my whole community is getting, racism against them right now and getting deported and attacked. Okay. So other people can experience racism. That's the only reason I brought it
Well,
up.
you
Is it
identify as a
comparable?
white tea girl. I don't want to get things mixed up because when you first came up here, you
No.
said you're white tea.
It's difficult because like I am Hispanic, but my skin is white. I can't lie about that, and I'm gonna have privileges because of that. Is it my culture? Is it, how I grew up? No, but we have to face reality. People look at me and they say white, you know. That's all I mean by that. I've had privileges because of it, because my skin is lighter. I'm not even dark for her Hispanic girl. I've had Hispanics tell me you're not dark enough, you're not Hispanic enough. I've had white people tell me you're not white enough. So, you know, we all face things in a different way, but what black people have suffered, of course, is beyond. But when I hear black men throwing their own women under the bus, black women suffered horrors that black men didn't during slavery. They were cattled to being like breeding stock. They were raped. Imagine giving birth to a child and having it ripped from you. And the fact that they like have no empathy for that pain, it really upsets me. I'm sorry that y'all have to deal with it. And I really want to just thank you for allowing me up here. I know this is your space, allowing me for saying my piece, and I'm learning a lot. I'm going to drop, but I hope everybody has a good day. And thank you. I land.
Whoa, hold on. Why are you running? Why are you running? Um.
I have to go to work, dear.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
No,
All
I'm
right.
sorry. I really
All
do.
right. Because I enjoyed you. You're welcome. I don't.
Thank you.
I don't police my panel with race or gender, etc. So.
Yeah. No,
Can I
I
say something?
understand. I think it was just a miscommunication earlier because I mentioned it. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you. And I'm not running. I really have to go to work. I work
No
second
problem.
shift
You're
and
good. You're
babies to
good.
take care of. Thanks,
You're
everybody.
good. Public, welcome up. Six figure. I know you had came right before pub, so I'm gonna go six figure and then pub. But question mark, you wanted to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to write about it to a sister, but she left. But
Just go
Hispanics
ahead and
actually
say
went through
whatever
this.
you were gonna say.
I was gonna say Hispanics, they been through the same thing that we've been through. So like they were literally on the same ships as us. As we know, like the Mayans were also colonized. Even before the West Indies was there, and what's that? I think yeah. The Mayans and like those were all ancient civilizations that was also conquered by the so-called white team, man. So they went through the same things we went through.
All right, I don't have a response to that right now because I'm gonna move
Bro,
right
everybody
along.
in the comments, they need to do their history, bro, because they
Okay,
just
respond to the
all over.
comments by typing in the comments. Six figure, are you ready?
Yeah, what's up?
If you can read out the first one and answer it.
White man, why haven't you deconstructed racism and psychiatry, all auto, why you thought like I don't get it. I don't understand
Okay,
it.
I'm gonna come back to you. I'm gonna give you a minute. I'm gonna give you a minute. They're gonna explain it to you in the comments. Welcome up, pub. If you could go through the prompt.
Those is so rude, bro.
Listen, I'm about to drop you. I'm not rude. I'm laughing at the comments. The comments be cutting up. I am laughing at the comments. The comments are acting like heathens. Bub, let me know when you're ready. I'm gonna give you a minute. Miss Jin Jin, how about you chime in? Take us back to the prompt. You want to add anything?
Hey, I had to stop laughing because I don't know what the devil he was trying to say. Um, I really don't. I mean, he throws me off. But with the deconstruction of the racism and stuff, we know why YT people in particular don't want to deconstruct it is because a lot of them get privilege from it. That's the truth. And it's mostly propagated by the YT man. And unfortunately, we have a lot of BLK men who want to be YT men so bad till they will be on this app regurgitating that same nonsense. That's why they keep talking about nuclear family. That's why they keep talking about body count. That's why they keep trying to denigrate BLK women for going to college. They say all this crazy stuff because they getting it from YT men. And then they want to act like, oh, it's not me. I don't know anybody that's like that. But we see it on this app. So I'll end there.
Okay, thank you. Jin Jin, speak for yourself. Are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
All right. If you could read out the first one and answer it.
All right. YT men, why haven't you deconstructed racism and patriarchy? All others, what's your thoughts? So it goes exactly what Jen said. It's a system that they benefit from, but there's no incentive to do that. Throughout history, anytime a group addressed a bias that they had towards another group, it required some type of government or entity like the church, etc., to put some type of incentive in place to encourage that group to do it, right? They always either throw money at it, they throw land, or they throw resources. There's something that gets thrown into it. So if you get land for not being racist, then you will practice not being racist. You will hire people who are, multi-ethnic, multiracial, etc., right? If you get money towards diversity, equity, and inclusion that you can.
You went out on my end. Go ahead.
Sorry, it was me. So if you get money towards diversity, equity, and inclusion that you can put into the bottom line of your company, you start a department that is diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? If you're getting a tax break for it, then you'll do it. The only language that those men understand is money. That is the primary principle. Now there are other men who go more towards basic nature, and they go towards things like racism, sexism, and any other form of ism as a standard of living because they don't necessarily have access to the resources. So their way of controlling the little resources that they have is by practicing those tactics, right? And we see that transferring into multiple different communities when there becomes a standard of how people get treated in that space. So ultimately, my answer to the question is that they do not have an incentive to begin deconstructing that system.
Okay. Man, that was definitely groundbreaking. Let's go to Widow. Widow, if you could read out the first one and answer it.
if that was her, the box was
Yeah, yeah.
highlighted. Okay. Um, yeah, I agree with her. They don't have an incentive. They're really just trying to protect the legacy that they came from. This is the quote unquote real legacy that, BLK men to talk about, but they don't have anything to show for it. That's the real legacy, okay, of white sheets and burning crosses. So they have to uphold that. They have to hold on to that, not only for family traditions, but maybe fear of being ostracized from the community. Um, and not only that, they tend to, I feel like when it comes to a system of racism in particular, there's cohesive, that's the word I was looking for, a cohesive participation. So even if they say, well, I'm not like that, and there has to be some level, whether it's conscious or subconscious, that you have to agree with that system in order to quote unquote stay on code, in order for, for the machine to keep going. You're literally feeding the beast. Because otherwise, why wouldn't you take that same, white tea privilege that you gaslight other quote unquote marginalized communities with and say it does not exist? Why wouldn't you take that white tea privilege and go ahead and deconstruct the system, weaponize your white tea-ness, and if you call yourself really an ally? But I'll just land there.
Wow, another groundbreaking message. Let me just give these rules. Y'all know on my panel, I want you to stand on business, so I'm not going to police your thoughts. To the questions. So after pub go is pretty much open panel. Six figure, you could just jump in open panel. Um, pub, you could go ahead and answer the first one. You can answer all three if you would like.
Uh, White team and why haven't you deconstructed racism and patriarchy? All others, what's your thoughts? Yeah, I mean, pretty much, definitely the last two, three people, Jin and Speak and Widow, they all touched on it. Just the lack of the incentivization that it is. Sorry. There's no incentive for them to do so. But on the flip side of that, it's a punishment. Um, you know, there's a price that you have to pay if you try to go against the machine. So also a big part of it is fear, and um, it's safer for them to accept it than it is for them to fight against it. So in the best interest of self-preservation, like immediate self-preservation, they ride with it. You know, even though in the long term, like racism is killing white people too. You know what I'm saying? Like they just,
Unaliving.
it's I'm sorry, and it's unaliving white people too, white tea people too. So, and a lot of them know that, but they fear the other side. They fear like if they were to actually push back, what would it look like? Because they every time they martyr somebody, you know what I'm saying? Every time they when they unalive Bobby Kennedy and they unalive JFK and they unalive Malcolm and they unalive Martin and they see all of that. They see the same stuff we see. You know what I'm saying? And then they're looking at it and they're going, I mean, it ain't like I'm not desperate. You know what I'm saying? I'm still not. They don't treat me like they treat them in words. So man, we'll just ride this thing out, and it makes it real easy to become complacent and and ignore everybody else's struggle, unfortunately. So yeah, I mean, and on every level, we could all point out how we do that with marginalized groups of people. You know what I'm saying? Like we could talk about that as Americans. You know what I'm saying? Like for anybody, if you can't understand that or whatever, for anybody that may struggle with that concept, look at you as an American, and then look at what America does to all of these other countries, and in the name of America, right? Look at what they're doing in the Congo. Look at what they're doing in Yemen. Look at what they're doing in North Syria. Look at what like all these countries that that America is has invaded and stolen their resources. Look at what they're trying to do in Venezuela. Like the American people could stand up and go, no, we don't want that. Like we're not down for that. We want to bring all the troops home and end all the wars, like the majority of Americans do. But we are afraid to do that because we know that if we do that, you might end up getting Charlie Kirk. You know what I'm saying? So that fear be keeping a lot of people in check from pushing back against the system.
Wow, that was groundbreaking to say the least. And there's a gentleman that came up earlier who said something similar, but he was talking about how black men are not standing against white men's patriarchy and ageism because of fear, and that they're more so on the quote unquote, yes, massa, we're sick. We sick, massa, ain't we sick, massa? Type of behavior towards patriarchy and ageism.
That's 100%. Black men benefit from the patriarchy as well. Even though like it's hard to talk about the patriarchy with black men because like most groups, like most men, the lack of education and the entitlement and the lack of accountability is overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So when you try to talk to men about how they benefit from the patriarchy, the reason why they think they don't benefit from the patriarchy is the very reason, like it proves that they want to be white men. Like I don't know how else to put it, but that's the best way to say it. So if you tell a black man you benefit from the patriarchy, and they go, "How? No, we don't," and they get all defensive, right? And they say, and then because they're comparing themselves to white men, and they're going, "Look at all the fruits that white men get, right? Look at all the things that they get. Look at the money they get. Look at the access they get. You know what I'm saying? That's in their mind. They think that's the patriarchy. You know what I'm saying? That's a part of it, but that's not even the most important part of the patriarchy. To be honest with you, it's not. It's not about going to Harvard or like that's extreme. You know what I'm saying? Being a CEO, all the white president. It's not about that. I promise you. That's not the stuff that affects you every day. The stuff that affects you every day is you aspirin, products that women use. Like they just, I swear to, I can't remember exactly the number, but it was like they just discovered like 60 new products, female products that like specifically for women that have
Do you date a white woman?
Okay,
cancer
question
cancer
mark. Please
causing.
stay on mute. Let him finish.
I heard he had a white woman, so I'm just
So
asking.
it doesn't matter. Let him finish.
Matters.
Yeah, cancer
No,
cancer causing chemicals as like 60 new, they just discovered like 60 new products that have cancer causing chemicals in there that are like specifically in women's products, and they're basically the products are, it basically is deliberate. Like like there's no reason for it to be in there. You know what I'm saying? And that's not something as a man that you have to worry about. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not they're not putting like deadly chemicals in male product, in beard, Beijing and shit, like in Rogaine. They're not doing that. That's in women's products. So that's the type of stuff that ignorant men like up down upside down question mark, they don't understand that because they can't read. Like this is the same dude that just said Hispanics were on the slave ships with black people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Ever
let's
met a
just be
Hispanic
real. Like,
black
it's
man?
just y'all just be it just
Ever heard
it's
of a
hard
Spanish
talking to black
slave trade?
men. Have you?
He's yeah.
The Spanish slave trade from Spain? What
Yes, the Spaniard
the
slave
fuck are you
trade. You need
talking
to look it
about?
up, bro.
I know from
Spanish
Spain,
colonized the
correct?
Mayans, bro. Who you think? Why you think the Spanish, bro? The Spanish people was not speaking Spanish before the Spaniards colonized them. Are you slow, bro? Do your research, kid.
I don't know. I don't know the relevancy of your statement. How
Spoke
does it prove
Hebrew.
that
The
they were on the
Mayans
slave
spoke
ships with us?
Hebrew.
The weird part about you saying that is that you're saying the
Well,
Spaniards
hold on,
didn't
hold on, hold
speak
on, hold on,
Spanish
hold on.
before the
Speak,
Span.
hold
What?
on, speak. Wait, let
I
him
said
go.
this.
They was having a
speak.
one on one.
You missed it. Hold on. Did you hear what he just said? He said the Mayans spoke Hebrew.
Heard that shit.
Bro, they
I'm
literally
sorry.
had, bro. Look at the Decala stone, bro. The Mayans literally spoke Hebrew, bro. You guys, y'all just all over the place. Y'all need to, before y'all say something, y'all need to look it up.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys, panel is open.
I just
Let's go look it
I
up.
I
He,
deeply dislike ignorance. And I get that some people be trying to flex because
What language? What
they
language did the
see
Mayans speak?
Listen,
What
Cash
language did the
App your
Mayans
they
speak?
it
question.
they
Question mark.
there
Cash
are
App
multiple groups.
speak. Go ahead and finish
Oh,
what
Okay.
you
you
don't
were
know? She
Okay.
just
saying.
yapped.
I actually do know. And what you're saying to me is not even the point that I'm about to make. I hate ignorance. I hate when people try to layer
I hate black
ignorance
women.
on top of. If you really want to flex on me, if you really got a problem with
No, and it
us,
shows.
say it first. Let me say it first and then you can respond to it. But I hate when people layer ignorance on top of ignorance, right? Because the people who are in that region of the world, who are in that southern region of the world, who were even in the throughout these this turtle island and what they called it, right? Throughout this hemisphere, they were not just Mayans. They had so many other communal names for themselves. So when you try to flex and say what you learned on Black Panther, you are still mistaken, and those people are still learning about the genetic diversity among them, about who they are. So leave them out of it. Leave them out of it. Let them speak for themselves. Like, you don't speak for them. Let them just speak for themselves. But it's frustrating when y'all can't just speak to the point. You can't directly answer what the person said. Public just talked about the fact that there are cancer causing chemicals in products that specifically impact women, and the only thing you wanted to say is, what about the slave trade? Well, what about, stay on topic. That's why don't nobody like you. They don't like you because you cannot stay on topic. Did you have anything that you either potentially could add to what he said, or that you dislike about what he said, and not about his wife, right? Do you have anything intellectual to add? People would respect you more if you had something to add to the conversation and not just lowbrow insults. Do that. If you want people to believe that you are intelligent, do that, or be quiet. That's the easiest thing that you can do. I did want to clarify one point while Chrissy was here. She's not here anymore, but I want to say this also to Black people, especially when it comes to conversations about race and when it comes to conversations about ethnicity, right? Hispanic people often say, and Latino often say, they experience racism. You are not experiencing racism, you are experiencing prejudice. And this becomes a problem when Black people specifically start talking about racism. When we say we experience racism, and they say, I experience racism too. And they say, well, what is your race? And they say, well, Latino. Latino is not a race, it is an ethnic group, right? Sometimes it has to do with your nationality, but it is not a race. Now, within that group, are there people who are white presenting? Yes. Are there people who are white passing? Those are two different things, though. Yes. Are there people who are Black? Yes. If a Black person who is Hispanic or Latino says they experience racism, they can say that. If within their group they experience something, they experience colorism, they still are doing the work of figuring out how to have the conversations that we can have as Black people, because we've defined all our isms and we've defined who our oppressors are, etc. And when Black women enter this conversation and we say that Black men are our oppressors, we have a valid stance and conversation to have about that as well. Some people jump up here and they take it personal because they can't take the conversation, even if they are not the ones doing it according to them. But your denial of it is doing it, right? The last thing I will say is this: Wahite people are Wahite. They are not Caucasian. Kim Kardashian is Caucasian. Caucasus is in Russia. So when y'all start talking about people came from the Caucasus Mountains, those were the Russians. That is ignorant rhetoric. Separate them. When you talk to Americans with eggshell color skin, they are WHITE, period, not Caucasian. And if you call them WHITE enough times, they going to get mad and say they Caucasian, and they are not. That's a stolen identity. Some Caucasian people are dark skinned, but I'm going to leave y'all there.
I don't know. That's like a speak what you said was groundbreaking, but I'm thinking about spoons. I don't know. I think she just felt weird because she got attacked by a couple people. But since she came to my panel yesterday, she's been saying that she's a white woman. But then all of a sudden she was Hispanic. So I don't know. But anyhow, public. Ugh, I hate that you put public as your first name. I mean Spear. Spear. Welcome up.
Hey, what's up, poetic? I just wanted to I wanted
Could
to
you answer
address
the prompt and then you could
oh,
address anyone?
but I wanted to talk to okay, wait, hold on. Poetic, the way you do these lives is be too
Okay,
slow.
listen,
Like I want
just
to
oh
respond to
my
somebody, then you
God.
say, "Huh."
Listen, I don't understand why you men come and do this. Y'all come and tell me what to do, and I'm the host. Can you please just follow the rules? Answer the prompt and then respond
You
to
requested me to
anyone.
come up. I didn't request you.
Okay, it's
You
because you're always in my live. So come up and chime in. Yeah, you're always here. Yeah, I did. You feel special now? Go ahead. Could you answer the prompt? You said yes.
YT men, why haven't you deconstructed racism and patriarchy? All others, all others. What's your thoughts? So I'm not a YT man, so I don't know.
That's why I
I
think
really don't
all
have any. I
others.
really don't have any thoughts on. I just wanted to address speak.
So you don't have no thoughts on acism and patriarchy.
Not really. No. I mean, I said yesterday. I said yesterday, if most children are being raised by single mothers, then how do we live in a patriarchy? It doesn't make sense to me.
How the fuck did single mothers get brought up into this conversation?
Who knows?
Because we're talking about patriarchy.
When all else
Uh huh.
failed, blame single mothers. Watch, it's gonna be the
These
makeup.
niggas.
Watch, it's gonna be the makeup, weave,
Hold
wigs,
on,
and
hold
lashes.
on. Let's let him
I
expound.
wasn't gonna say
Let's
any of
let him
that. You see how
expound.
people assume so much? Come on.
Go ahead and finish
Be
your
able to
point.
say.
I was saying people keep bringing up racism. They keep bringing up patriarchy. And to go back to speak, right? It's the same race, ethnicity, nationality. This is what a nationality is. This is what a race is. This is what an ethnic group is. We heard this like about 10 million times for the past 10 years. Can y'all come up with something new? Like, oh my goodness, it's the same
Respect.
stuff. Y'all just
Shut
go in the
up.
circle with the same stuff. And what do you, we can't hear you're whispering. Speak, speak,
No,
speak,
you
not
guys,
whisper.
we can't have a conversation like that. Everyone stays on mute and let that person land. So they're gonna let you land. Go ahead and finish what you're saying.
That was it. Just come up with something new. It's like, come on, it's the same stuff. It's like, come up with something new.
Make a point.
That was my point. Come up with something new. We can't.
Can
You
I?
saying race is this? Puerto Ricans are this. Mixed people is not a race. It's like we heard this 10 billion times. Like, come
It's
on.
true though, stupid.
Okay, wait, hold on, because I don't want the live to start going crazy. The panel. Let's let people land. If you're talking, don't say the same things because it make people unmute their mic because you continue saying the same thing. Just land your plane when you don't have nothing else to add.
I said
Public
that was
action
it.
and land your
That's
plane.
it. I'm about to mute.
Okay, all right. Whoever wants to respond.
I won't speak to go, but I did want to just clock something really funny. That this man came up here and told her, "Can you say something new?" But the first thing he talked about was single baby mamas, as if we ain't been hearing that for 50 years. as
But I
if
came up with
as
a
if black
different
men ain't
point.
been
So I
blaming.
came up. No, no, no,
I'm
no.
not done. I'm not done. I'm not done. I'm not done. Calm down. I know when y'all say something stupid and then somebody come behind you and say something not stupid, you always want to come off of mute because you realize what you said was stupid. But again, I'll repeat it for you. You just got up here and said, "Oh, can you say something?" Which is pointless. Which you didn't listen to what Speak was saying. You you had nothing to say against what she said, so you just come up here and say, "Can you say something new?" But I'm asking you, can you say something new besides single baby mamas is the problem? That proves that. How can single baby mothers prove that there's a patriarchy, a
I didn't say
matriarchy,
they were a
racism
Let
is
him
problem.
gone,
finish.
racism is here, capitalism don't exist. We live it like everything go back to single baby mamas. Can you please explain to the class how does children being raised children being raised in homes that don't have fathers that abandon them? What does that have to do with the patriarchy? I please tell me.
It
Let me know.
dispro- it disproves the
Hold on. We do have to cash up for questions, but we'll let him answer it.
I
Also,
got
we
you.
can
I
tap
got
the
you.
screen. Go ahead, Spear.
I'm saying it disproves the patriarchy. That is how it relates to the patriarchy. If patriarchy is about fathers and there's a whole bunch of single mothers, then what does that say about the patriarchy and how it influences society? YouTube?
Okay, so you don't know what the patriarchy is. So even if just for an example, this is why I'm going to show you how what you're saying doesn't make any sense. So typically, what are the last names of these children? Whose last name do they take? Even when the daddy left them at 6 weeks old, 6 months old, 6 years old, 16 years old, whose last name do those babies have typically?
I don't know the stats on that. They're single mothers
Brother,
raising the kids. I don't
brother,
know the
hold on,
stats
hold on,
on the
hold on.
last
Just answer.
names.
You can say you don't know. That's okay. Or you can say you know. But just take a guess though if you had to. If you had to guess,
Why would I guess? My guess is not the truth.
I'm not asking you for the truth. I'm asking you for your guess. Your guess may be the truth. Who knows?
Reason. Is it true or is it not? With you tell me, you know.
Yeah. So you don't. So you do know, but you don't want to answer it because you realize that you walk right headfirst
I
into the
just said
point,
I
so you
do
don't want to
not
say it.
know. Why are you
Oh,
putting
okay.
words in my mouth?
What's your whose last name do you have? Your daddy's, right? I got
Daddy's last
I
name?
got my daddy's last name. Like most of us up here, we got our daddy's last name. Do you know if you look up the definition of the patriarchy that is a core function of the patriarchy is that the lineage is tracked through the father? That is a patriarchy. Like that is a huge part of it, right? So
And what does that have to
even
do with
if
how they're raised? If the father's not there to raise them, how does that have to do with how the child is brought up?
well you would
Spear, you need to cash up for your questions.
well you
Poetically,
would
so many money guns and all. You can't have a
Okay, it doesn't
conversation.
matter. That's the rules every day. Like it doesn't change. I appreciate the support, but that is the rules every day. So if you're gonna just answer the question instead of giving a counter question, Pub already said he's gonna cash out for his.
yes. Um so what I'm trying to what basically what you're it would really go on reverse. What you're saying doesn't have anything to do with the patriarchy. How the children are raised has nothing to do with the patriarchy. You know what I'm saying? Like
Does.
how
If a
it has nothing
society
to
is
do with it.
being raised not by their fathers, then the fathers are not in control of the house. So how is that a
It doesn't say
patriarchy if the
that's not.
fathers are not in
Mhm.
control?
Yeah.
Duh. It's so
Okay.
simple. Do you see that,
Yeah.
YouTube?
Why are you calling him YouTube, but you copy his name as public? That is so weird.
Name is YouTube, no?
No, but it's okay. I don't care. But that's not what the patriarchy doesn't say that men have to run the house. Um,
What does it
but
mean? Who's running it then?
Stop. Let him finish. Spear, can you have some self control? Let him finish his point and then respond. Oh my
yeah,
God.
and even if that's the case, like even if like the women are running house because they are forced to run the homes, right? Because the men abandon them. The bigger issue would be who runs society. Who do the women have to go to get money? Who do the women have to go to get housing? Who do the women have to go to, to for protection or whatever? All of those systems are built on the back are they're all patriarchal systems, right? So men run all of it. Men are the ones who hand out whatever handouts they want to give to anybody, jobs they want to give, all of that stuff. That is the patriarchy more than who runs the fucking household due to the man abandoning the children. You see what I'm saying? Like that doesn't make sense. If a man leaves, what does that have to do with the patriarchy? Do you think the patriarchy doesn't stipulate men have to stay in the homes? It never says that anywhere in the patriarchy. That's like I'm not understanding what is the relevancy of that.
What
So
do you
if the
mean
men can
anywhere in the
lead,
patriarchy? Can you point
it
to what
doesn't say
verse,
that in the
chapter, verse
definition
of the
of the
patriarchy book
patriarchy.
you're talking about?
Yes, in the definition, you fucking dummy. In the definition, it never says that. It never says when you study the patriarchy, it never says men have to be in the home for it to be a patriarchy. If every man is in the home, if men aren't in every single home, then the patriarchy isn't real. That's what I'm saying. That's not how it works. That's what I that, what
Wait,
the fuck are you
what?
talking about?
Wait, repeat that again.
The patri within if you study the patriarchy, nowhere in any literature in the patriarchy says that for the patriarchy to exist, men have to run every single home. That's not what it says. So where are you getting that from? Like that's what I'm not even asking you. I know you just made that up. That's stupid. So make a
I made
so
it
make a
up.
better point. You did make it up. Where'd you get it from? You never read it anywhere. You just made that up. Or you heard it from somebody more, or you heard it from somebody a little bit smarter than you, but both of y'all stupid.
Who?
Oh my gosh.
Or
Who
you
is
or
who?
you
Oh,
heard it from somebody a little bit smarter than you, but both of y'all are stupid because you're listening to a person that's dumb.
I'm not
So both
listening
of y'all
to
are dumb.
nobody. Y'all come up with y'all repeat the same talking points. So what are you people talking about? I've heard all these talking points about 10 for the past 10, 20 years now. It's the same
No, you
stuff.
haven't.
If you're
No,
talking
you haven't.
about a patriarchy assumes that men control society, like you said. What is the building block of society? It is the family, right? People grow up
That
in families, they are raised in families. People are taught everything they know in a family. If most
yeah,
children are raised by single mothers, then how is it that we live in a patriarchy when it is mothers that control the growth of children and other people in the society? It's so simple. It has nothing to do with talking. I heard it from somebody else. It's just using basic logic, YouTube. You're talking about patriarchy
that's not
literature.
basic. That's
What
hold on.
patriarchy
That's not
literature
basic
you're
logic.
talking about? That's not in the
That's not
patriarchy literature. Like
that's
what?
not basic logic. That's not basic logic. You're not logical. So don't use the word like you're not being logical because no matter what, I'll continue your stupid ass logic, right? So let's say there's a man and a woman in a home, right? In every home. Listen, America is exactly the same except for there's a man and a woman in every home. When you send your child to school, who is most likely to teach your child?
A woman, which proves my point.
Exactly. That wouldn't prove your point. That wouldn't prove that that
Woman
wouldn't
should
prove
be
that there's a
teaching the
patriarchy.
children. It's a
The
Get
woman
in on
patriarchy would
this
teaching
still
the
right quick.
exist.
children. Is that a father?
Can I get in on this right quick?
Child is most likely to be taught by a woman. It's most likely to be reared by a woman, socialized by a woman.
That is a marker of the patriarchy. That is a gender role assignment that the patriarchy gives to women. Patriarchy is a container. It's a dish. It's a holder of many things, right? It is a circle. And within that circle, the way our society operates is based on what the rules of the circle are. So no matter what the makeup of a household is, it still exists within the circle.
Who
So
makes up the
in
rules
the
for a
circle,
family?
who makes up the rules for a family?
Yes.
So definitively, right? In this country, people have said a family is X, Y, and Z, right? People who believe what you believe tend to believe that a family is a man, a woman, and some children. That is how, in this country, most of the time family has been defined. That's the way that evangelicals, who are now incorporated with the party who has got the most influence right now of things, or the most cheating, or whatever you want to call it, right? They have called that a family. When politicians culturally go forth and they say what is a family and what is a family, they are talking about man, woman, and child. However, every culture and custom that has come to this country did not necessarily identify that way, because they identify more in extended families. So, not this nuclear family idea that people like to bring up, but extended families where it was multi generational, with grandparents, with great grandparents if they were still living, with children, and sometimes children's children. That was the way that family was to most of the people who have come to the United States. But in order to promote capitalism, it is important to promote the idea that a family is a man, a woman, and a child, because you disturb or disrupt or disperse their their power and resources they have when they're together. Is this something different that I'm talking about? No. You'll say you know these things, but I don't see where your argument is going, because all of it is, we're talking about something that is systemic, right? Systemic is the larger societal, cultural, accepted way of operating that is also upheld by people who will use violence to uphold it. That is what the patriarchy is. And the people within it are operating and living the best they can in the system, even if they do something that looks like the system does not accept it. If the system is the cause of the issue, for example, single parents, right? Or single home parents, then that is something that the system has caused. It's a byproduct of how the system works. Because even if the system intends for there to be these two parent households, but also sinisterly is like attacking certain groups of people who are impoverished and making it impossible for them to have these so-called two parent households and the economic standing that is supposed to be in a two parent household, and the health, the safety, the byproducts like good schools, good neighborhoods, and all of those things, making it impossible to do that, then that system is not exactly working. But when the people in the system think that it's working perfectly and they want to uphold it because it even benefits them a little bit, it gives them power over other people, then that's why the system persists. And that's where we are. And that's why what you're saying is just upholding everything that's wrong with the system.
All right, Poetic, can I respond?
Go ahead, and then it's open panel.
All right. So it looks like you have two options. Either there's the patriarchal system, the nuclear family of a father and a mother and their children, or many, like you said, many people came from multi-generational extended families.
Well, actually, you were dropped by 3 money pow pows. Spirit, you were dropped by 3 money pow pows. If you want to get your spot back, you could just send something higher than the 3 money pow pows. Um, but for now, it's open panel. Mika could chime in whenever you want. It's open panel.
I just wanted to say I appreciate you for letting me up, Poetic, but I gotta go. I appreciate you, though. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Panel's open if anybody else want to chime in.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I kind of want to chime in on this last one, if I can. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
If you don't like women, why not just leave them alone? Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, you have so many men who have such disgusting things to say about women, but you're always in our face. You're always in our face. You know, I don't understand. If you don't like us, like the prompt says, just leave us alone. And you know, especially if you don't like BLK women, just leave us alone. I promise you, we will survive without you. We will be okay without you. I think that it is a thing of where they are so convinced and so determined and mindset of destroying and belittling and bashing BLK women, especially, that it's almost a addiction to some of them. You know, Green Hearts in the chat. You know, it's like they have to do it. That's like their second source of income. You know, I think that it's very sad that, you know, BLK men are so down ho on belittling BLK women, but you will kiss the ground that a white tea woman walks on. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I mean, I don't know what these BLK women have done to some of you men, but I think some of you men really need to go back to your mama Let's try again. I land.
Thank you, Mika. Yeah, I mean, everyone was open to answering the entire prompt. I find it interesting that Public Spirit continued to bash single moms, but he can't even get his spot back on the panel. Jasmine, you were already up here, so you could chime in whenever, but the panel is open.
Oh, I would say I'm not into like racism and all that type shit, patriarchy, because the real men don't care about all that shit. So yeah, so I don't really got anything to say about this topic. So because I don't really care.
You, as a black man, don't care about racism or patriarchy?
Racism, I would say it's not something like I really like experience. So I don't really into that. See any of that. So yeah. I never see nobody, racist that talk with me or my family. Uh, so yeah, no, I speak fucking Japanese, please.
Six Figure, I'm gonna stop bringing you to the panel because you're not adding nothing to the conversation, and like you are saying some very silly things, and it's like nobody's even rebutting you. So I'm getting annoyed at this point. I'm gonna have to stop bringing you to the panel unless you're going to add to the conversation and expound. I'm just gonna stop at this point. Let me say,
Why? You
no,
want me to
no,
talk
no,
about
Six
racism?
Figure. I'm not gonna go back and forth. I'm gonna just say panel is open if anybody else want to chime in.
If I can say this real quick, the reason he doesn't care is because he doesn't know the definition of those words. I mean, so when you're uneducated and you don't understand certain things, how could you possibly care about them, even if it's in your face? When you are not emotionally and educationally sound, how can you care about certain things even when it's in your face? I mean, so that's why that's why he's giving this little stupid comment, and I think that it is sad that some people are just so uneducated, especially in 2025, when there's so many ways to get educated, to learn, to grow. But you have people who come on this panel and give little stupid comments and stupid little innuendos. I don't understand. I mean, I think that it is sad, and it shows the fourth grade educational level of BOK men. And I hate to say that, but it is true. And people say it all the time that a lot of BOK men, especially, don't have a fourth grade educational level, and they don't. I land.
Um, Six Figure, I'm gonna let you defend yourself before we move on. Did you want to respond to that?
Yeah, yeah. I would say just because I don't want to talk about racism, that don't mean I'm not educated or on anything. I don't want to talk about racism. I don't. Like for me, racism it don't even exist. You know what I mean? I don't see racism because I'm black or none of that shit. So it's just a topic. You know, I got nothing to say about racism. So
Racism don't
if I'm
exist?
not
What?
educated, that's on you. You see, I'm not educated. I don't know nothing. Okay, that's fine because I don't want to talk about racism. You know what I mean? It just that's just not for me. I'm a T. If anybody racist talk with me, that's on them. I don't see them. So yeah.
Again,
Hold
when
on,
you are
Mika. Let's see if anybody else on the panel is gonna talk. But thank you, Mika, for standing on business. But let's see if anybody else is gonna say anything.
Yeah, I kind of believe that that's very ignorant to say that you say racism doesn't exist because Today's events show that, history shows that. Then also for someone to say that patriarchy doesn't exist as well. Like, come on, we cannot be that delusional. This world is ran by men. Men make the laws. Men built the world. So how could they try to blame everything on single mothers? Like, just because, women are in the home with the children because the men leave and, they got to do that. That doesn't mean that we run the world. Like, this world is still manufactured by men. That's why it's the patriarchy. That's why people say that. And for that guy to keep on coming up here and just insinuating that that's not what it is that's just crazy. And Six Figure, I don't know, maybe you need to go and look at the TV show Reading Rainbow, because you choking up here, because you gonna say racism doesn't exist.
Rainbow.
Still to this day, we can't sit down in a space, right, and just mind our business without certain groups of people just looking at us odd and thinking that we're doing something. We can't even moving to a decent neighborhood without them trying to insinuate that we don't belong there and that we can't even equally have the same amount of money as them. And you think that racism doesn't exist? That's crazy. How do y'all call yourself leaders when y'all can't even perceive things? Like, where y'all gonna lead us, to a dark alley to get robbed or something? Because it's not making sense for y'all to try to put yourself in position to something, and half of you come up here and deny and disregard everything that's
Hey,
done happened in
dangerous.
the
Hey,
world.
dangerous. I'm a leader.
Hold
I'm gonna
on,
need
hold
you to
on,
stop interrupting people and
hold
have
on,
some decorum.
hold on,
I'm
Miss
not a
Dangerous,
follower.
because
I'm a
you had
leader.
stopped. Hold on, you guys. Um, Thanks everyone for coming. I appreciate you. I'm going to drop you. Thank you, Maj, for coming up and carrying the conversation. But there's a lot of people on the panel not really talking. And then we have Six Figure not really saying nothing. So I'm gonna restart the live a little bit later. But thanks everyone for coming. This has been an interesting topic, some interesting takes. But I mean, if we were to just do a case study today of the people who came up, it just sounds like patriarchy and racism. Damn, why I gotta get a phone call right when I'm talking? That the men are gonna be scared to go against patriarchy and racism. Really sad to end it on that note, but I guess we'll revisit it later. For now, I want to ask everyone to go to my YouTube and subscribe at Poetic Lady so you can watch these videos plus more content. Public spare, I don't need that stupid rose. You can't even stand on business or get your spot back and have a real debate. You need to cash out for your questions too. But everyone else that support the platform, thank you. All my mods, thank you. Appreciate y'all. Um, Might go live later tonight, if not tomorrow. Y'all have a great day. Girl, I seen you come in late, but you wasn't like saying nothing. So, anyways.